Saquon Barkley and the team, the Giants, the New York Football Giants, aren't close to a deal. And the deadline is quickly approaching for franchise-tagged players like Saquon Barkley, like Josh Jacobs. Tony Pollard's a franchise-tagged player, but he signed his franchise tag like a good little boy, and he's hoping to get an extension or a new contract as well. Probably not likely for Tony Pollard, but we'll talk about that in a minute. We're here to talk about Saquon Barkley. We're here to discuss whether Saquon Barkley is going to likely get this new contract. This probably looking for like a 3 or 4 year deal. He's looking for somewhere along the lines of probably $30-40 million. Who knows how much of that's guaranteed, but he wants to be paid. And he's not asking for the world. You know, this is a take a lap moment for the New York Football Giants, but we're getting into all of that and more. The Fantasy Football Show begins right now.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios, it's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern.
From the FantasyFootballShow.com news desk, here is your breaking news.
What is going on, everybody? My name is Smitty. You're watching the Fantasy Football Show, and today we have a little bit of news to go over regarding these franchise-tagged players, these running backs specifically. The guys holding out, the running backs that deserve money aren't getting money. These running backs that deserve contracts that reward them for all their efforts, but they just it's like they get dog water offers. They get treated like dogs in the NFL, and they do the grunt work. And they're really one of the most important positions in the National Football League. And I know a lot of people think that the position is going away or it's transforming, but really it isn't. And there will always be good elite running backs, but you have to think like downstream, Pop Warner, high school, our parents that are looking out for their kids' interests going to be telling them don't play running back, and what's going to happen to the position over time. Right now, it's not going to have an effect. We're going to see an elite running back or two in your wheelhouse walking into 2024 in the rookie-only draft. We're going to talk about all the incoming rookies in 2024 very soon, by the way. We're going to get a jump on that. But you know, there's always going to be an RB that deserves to be the number one drafted, overall player in a rookie-only draft. Marvin Harrison Jr. will probably be the number one overall pick next year. Not for certain, but probably will be. That will be a wide receiver going 1.1 rookie-only drafts. It will be a little unusual, but it's not to say we won't get back to normal for a couple years. But what will happen to the running back position if players in high school, and like I said, Pop Warner, are being guided by their parents to stay away from the position? They'll always have a running back in the lineup, but will people train and be dedicating their whole lives to the running back position, or will good athletes that play running back in high school transition to another position in college, and then you don't have the pedigree, dating back to the earliest days of that player's development, and then that's when the position can change. I don't know. We'll have to see how it goes. Everything's a cycle. I don't think there's a fear that the running back is going to be a lesser quality, 2, 3, 4 years from now. But running backs are disrespected to an insane degree. An insane degree. I will say this. Saquon Barkley is a smart man. I don't think Saquon Barkley, this high character guy, is going to actually hold out. I do believe, let's get to the news report here by Diana Rossini from ESPN. She's reporting that that Saquon Barkley and the Giants remain at a stalemate with the deadline to reach a new deal approaching on Monday the 17th. So on Monday the 17th, Saquon Barkley, if he refuses to sign his franchise tag, here's the breakdown. He's not going to get paid a dime if he doesn't sign the tag. And players do get fined for holding out, which to my knowledge, that would come out of the amount that he would come back to. Now, he could, technically speaking, sit out the entire season, not get a dime, and the team would probably not franchise tag him again the next season. And so he's probably ruining his career like Lev Bell if he does go down that path. But could he do it to prove a point out of principle? Could he see himself differently than we do and say, I don't care how old I am, I'm going to last forever and I can sit out a year? I don't know. Like it's you don't know. You don't know what a player's thinking, and we believe a certain thing. We follow football a certain way. They're not looking at it from our perspective, and it's certainly in the realm of possibility that a player could take a stand and say, I'm going to hold out until week 9, week 8, week 7, week 4. Remember Zeke Elliott held out and then came back. It was like, if I remember correctly, it was about 5 years ago, maybe 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 4 years ago. I don't even know. He held out, came back like week 4 or 5 or something like that. So he could essentially hold out and then return before week 10. He has to return before week 10 or during week 10, or then he cannot play the remainder of the season. So he's got to come in here and show up at some point. But could he hold out essentially the first week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks? Is certainly possible, but he hasn't made a definitive statement like, I'm holding out, I'm not coming back. He just said, we haven't gotten there yet, things of that nature. And to me, that tells me he's not going to take this past July 17. He's using the leverage he has. He cannot get extended after the 17th. Once July 17th comes, Josh Jacobs, Barkley, Tony Pollard, they no longer could get a long-term deal even if both sides agreed upon it. It's off the table at that point. So essentially, they either get a deal done before the 17th or it's over. It's over. There's nothing there at all at that point, to do. It's you sign your tag, you come in and play at the $10.1 million. If you're Barkley, if you're Jacobs, if you're Tony Pollard, you're a good boy, you already signed it. But you're playing at that money or you're not playing at all. There's no on July 18 going, you know what, let's give Barkley the deal. It's $10.1 million. So what's he really going to do? Like if they don't give him his long-term deal, July 17 comes, okay? July 18's here, and he can't do anything about it any longer. Is he really going to just sit out and not get paid $10.1 million? Highly, 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 highly unlikely. So don't expect that to happen. Saquon Barkley, let me just say, Saquon Barkley, Smitty approved.
You've just been Smitty approved.
Totally Smitty approved. I do wonder where we start assessing risk, though, because let's say he was to hold out and potentially incur some fines but show up before week 1. Is he running the risk of injury? The answer is yes. Do I think he'll do that? The answer, I believe, will be no. I don't think this guy's going to do that. Would Jacobs do that? Could Josh Jacobs hold out a little longer than Barkley? I mean, I don't think they do. I don't think either one of them doesn't show up and sign their franchise tag come July 17. I think they're both using their leverage the best way they can. Hey, we're not going to come in. We're going to put up a fuss. We're going to get the fan base upset. We're going to make you feel like, okay, we can't have continuity without you guys on the field. Let's get the team together. Cohesiveness. This is throwing a wrench in our offseason program. Let's get this guy in here. That's what Jacobs is trying to do. That's what Barkley's trying to do. Tony Pollard didn't want to play that game. Tony Pollard is still awaiting his long-term deal, and if he gets it before July 17, he can sign that and get inked. The thing about Tony Pollard, though, is we want him to sign a long-term deal. We're hoping that slips in, and nobody expects it to happen, but if it did and it slipped in and it broke right before the 17th, we'd be ecstatic. Why would we be ecstatic? Because in Dynasty, if this guy is on a 1-year deal, he has no security. If Tony Pollard goes out there and gets injured, there's a high likelihood that another team's not going to say, we want you as our starter, because he's already kind of in that gray area for some people. I'm sure a lot of teams would feel that way now, where they're like, I don't know if this guy's an every down back. We believe he could be, and there's always a chance he isn't, but I believe he could be. I believe he can be a top 5 running back in the National Football League, especially in this Dallas offense, which should be still very productive. They're going to gear toward the run more than ever. That should be a good thing, but we're hoping that there's not some sort of misstep along the way. We're hoping that McCarthy calling plays and the exit of Moore going over to the Chargers isn't going to leave a void that can't be filled. And so when they transition this offense over to a little bit more run-heavy attack, will it be successful? Will they have to retreat and go back to a pass-heavy attack, which is still conducive to producing stats for the running back room? But my point is the being off kilter, not jiving, not meshing, having the offense not have flow, and having just disaster on our hands. Fhopefully that's not the case. If Tony Pollard can stay healthy, and he's fully healthy for the most part from his broken fibula, and that's not something that's going to linger or cause him any sort of slow start or anything. He's going to be ready to rumble. But if Tony Pollard can't stay healthy, there is a big risk that the team won't have the job waiting for him in 2024. And the Dallas Cowboys would probably just let him go and they bring in somebody else, draft somebody. They would not wait on another injured Tony Pollard, which means that if Tony Pollard got injured, he would hit the free agent, pool in 2024 with that injury lingering, with the 2 back-to-back years of being injured. The best thing that could happen for your dynasty shares of Tony Pollard is for him to get inked to a long-term deal, because then no matter what happens this year, even if you miss 6 games at the end of the year, he's coming into the next season as a starter. That's what a contract does. You lock money up, and a team says we got to stick with this guy to a certain degree and to a certain point. Now Barkley's a little different because he's pretty much a consensus top 5 running back across the National Football League. And if Barkley was to, let's say, get hurt at the very end of the season in 2023, there's a real good chance that a team would still buy into Barkley for a year or 2. I don't think he gets any sort of 3 or 4 year deal, but on a 1 or a 2 year deal, a prove-it deal, given he's 26 years old, he'll be 27 next offseason. I don't think anybody's signing him to a 3 year deal. Ekeler's 28 years old. And so if you think of Barkley turning 27 next offseason, he's only 1 year removed from where Ekeler is, and Ekeler isn't getting a long-term deal. So you can't expect Barkley to get a 3 or 4 year deal next offseason. So, but if he got hurt, a team's going to rely on him. They're going to count on him. They're going to bring him in and pay him. Jacobs is in the same situation as Tony Pollard. If either Jacobs or Pollard get injured to the point where they can't finish the year, they have really bad seasons, they will be very hard-pressed in 2024 to find a high-paying starting job with no competition whatsoever. Could they both slip into a cloudy situation that pretty much gives them the driver's seat to the starting job? Sure. But would they be guaranteed anything if they got hurt? No, they would not. Barkley, we want this to get done. This guy deserves to get paid. The guy's even been very clear about, hey, I don't want to set records. I know my market value. I don't want to be the highest paid running back in the National Football League. I just want to be compensated fairly for what I do and what I bring to the table and the kind of player I am in the locker room. And the guy deserves it. And I don't know how far apart the two sides are. Maybe Barkley's been asking for more than we think, but from what I'm gathering, from what I'm hearing, this is more on the side of the Giants being a little bit frugal. And the fact that they paid Danny Dimes so much money that they feel they have to maybe hedge their bets on these two guys by saying we're going to go in all in on Dimes, which is a mistake in my mind. I would have franchise tagged Danny Dimes and I would have signed this man to a 3 or 4 year deal, but that's me. That's me. Dable, we got to kind of trust Dable a little bit because Dable's done amazing things in his career. Turned Josh Allen around, came over, turned Danny Dimes around for the most part. I mean, Dimes had a pretty good year considering, and I'm not saying he's a top 8 quarterback or anything like that, but could he flirt with like 15 down to 12 quarterback numbers here and there all year long? If Barkley signed to a long-term deal and happy and trucking along, or even if he just plays on the 1 year deal, this Giants team should turn heads in 2023 to a certain level. I don't know that they're a deep playoff team. I don't know that they're even a playoff team, but they very well could be, and they could win a playoff game, or they could literally not make the playoffs because it is tough sledding to get into the playoffs these days. These are two conferences that are completely packed to the rafters with talent, and there's a lot of gunslingers, a lot of changing of the guard, young gunslinging quarterbacks out there on both sides of this thing, to where, you know, I don't see a team like the Giants without a Hurts, without a Burrow, without a Mahomes, without a Justin Fields. I don't see a team without one of those quarterbacks making it to the big dance. Maybe the Niners do with defense, and Purdy does come back, plays healthy for 17 games. Christian McCaffrey stays healthy for 17 games. Then the Niners are in play in the NFC as being one of the top 2 teams. But if Purdy goes down, can't stay healthy, this isn't experimental surgery, but it is something that we haven't really seen before on a player that has actually played this out and tried to have a long career, being in a starter that's got tons of volume. This is like a Nick Mullins, I think, is the only other quarterback, ironically, a Niner, that has ever had this particular surgery on the UCL that Purdy tore. He didn't have Tommy John surgery. That would have taken too long. From what I gather, and I'm not a doctor, but I'm one of the best deep fake doctors on the internet when it comes to fantasy football. And I'll tell you right now, from what I'm hearing, from what I'm gathering, Tommy John was still probably the better way to go. Maybe at the end of the day it won't be, but this is kind of an unknown territory. Tommy John typically does make your arm stronger, but it takes a full year to come back. They didn't want to go that route. And Purdy didn't want to go that route. He was impatient. He went a route that could work out, could be better. Who knows? But there aren't a lot of case studies at all. There's Nick Mullins that have had this surgery, to my knowledge, that have come into the NFL and gunslinged after the particular surgery that Purdy had. It's not tested. It's not tested and true. We have no idea how it's going to work out. And CMC being such an injury risk by himself, this is a situation where I don't know what's going to happen. I was just mentioning the Niners in terms of teams that don't have those big gunslingers. So from the NFC and you look over at the AFC, it's going to be one of Josh Allen and Mahomes and Burrow. And this is just, I think it could be, and you call me crazy all you want. The Lions are in the mix too because they're such a talented team. But maybe it's the Bears versus one of those quarterbacks I just named. You could say that that's crazy all you want. This man right here said that the Bengals would do what the Bengals did when everyone said I was crazy then. So take it for what it's worth. Let's roll. Super chats coming in like clockwork. Who's this right here? We got Overcome dropping a $5 hauler and a $20 Bama super chat. First of all, Bama gets a $20 standing ovation, of course, but Overcome was the first super chatter of the day, so he gets a standing ovation per usual. Mashed potatoes! And on that note, Bama gets his $20 hauler celebration. Appreciate you dropping it.
Alert. Super chat alert. Alert. Super chat alert.
And these 2 super chats are as follows. Bama says, I'm late, but I'm here now. Bama, to the moon. I'm sending you to the moon as well because you're a monster. A straight up super chatting monster, bro. And Overcome says, yell at my TV on game day, amped for Garrett Wilson or Diggs. Amped up for Garrett Wilson or Diggs. If I had to pick, is this an or question? I'd say give me Garrett Wilson over Diggs, but I have videos on that, and not everybody agrees with me, but I think Garrett Wilson's bound for top 3 wide receiver numbers, or at least top 3 to 5. So that's my take on that. Let's head on over to the phone line where we've got Scuba. Scuba, what is up, my guy? Appreciate you being here, pal.
Hey, what's going on?
What can I do for you?
Doing?
I'm good, bro.
I just got a question for you. So with the Saquon Barkley stuff, I know that you're covering it. If for some reason they do end up trading him, what would what would be the team that I guess would uptick his fantasy value and I guess make it higher?
Yeah, I mean,
it probably already is right now.
Look, I mean, we could go down and play these Twilight Zone games, but he's not getting traded. There's no shot of him getting traded because he's franchise tagged. So think about it this way, Scuba. He's franchise tagged. What team is going to want to give up draft capital and pay him $10.1 million of cap space that very few teams have to not be able to sign him to a long-term deal? Because he's locked into the $10.1 million, once the 17th comes. So there's no trade happening. No teams are going after RBs via trade, so this would be just spinning our wheels. He's not going anywhere. He's not getting traded. If he gets traded, I'll write scuba on my forehead and marker and do the entire show the day that happens. Okay, it's definitely not gonna. Now the question would be if he gets franchise tagged. Well, he is franchise tagged. If he signs his franchise tag and doesn't get his extension, where does he end up next year? Does he not come back to New York because he's frustrated with how it went down? Does he go somewhere else? Can you imagine him in Philly? Can you imagine him in Cincinnati? Cincinnati might go one more try, like Timmy T says, one more try with Joe Mixon, and then maybe he goes to Cincinnati. Maybe he goes to KC. Maybe he goes to who the heck knows? It's like that's going to be some of the biggest talk of 2023. Now he could get franchise tagged again. Lev Bell did, and Lev Bell held out and didn't play the entire season and ruined his career. He could get franchise tagged again. I don't know that they do him that way. They might. Any team is about business at the end of the day, but it would be harder to do because you have to pay even more. When you franchise tag a player 2 times in a row, there's like another 10 or 20%. I think it's 120% of the franchise tag amount or the previous year's amount. So it would be a lot more expensive. It'd be in the upwards of probably, if I'm just spitballing here, but like $14 or $15 million instead of 10.1, based on whatever the numbers look like tomorrow, tomorrow. So, but yeah, Barkley, the conversation is where's Barkley playing next year, not where is he getting traded. He's not getting traded anywhere. What else you got, Scuba?
For right now, I off the top of my head, I definitely still have to think of some more stuff. So if anybody else has like any questions, like in the chat or like the super chat,
all right,
you can answer that.
Yeah, hang tight.
If I have something else, I'll come back.
Sure, hang tight.
I'll let you know.
Yeah, hang tight. Put yourself on mute, and then we'll jump around the chat. And if you got something else, shout it out. Rise Above says, Smitty always with fire content, my friend, to the moon. Appreciate you dropping in. Melvin Gordon, who Barkley with the Chiefs would be unfair. Barkley to Miami, all possibilities next year, guys. All possibilities if he doesn't get a long-term deal in time by July 17. Again, all these are not trades, not this year, but after a franchise tagged year, most likely he will not be tagged again next offseason. I don't want to hear about markets. It's positional bias. Hell, Ekeler literally carried the Chargers, and the dude still had to publicly argue with the organization before they'd somewhat compromise. Well, to be fair, Isaac, I'm pretty sure they offered him this little bonus raise for a while, and I think they didn't really compromise as much as Ekeler went back to the table and said, fine, give me my bump, because they were trying to give him a bump, I believe, before he rejected it and tried to hold out for a long-term deal. But Isaac, at the same time, he's 28 years old. Like, you can't expect a team to pay backwards and say, hey, for what you did, that's why the raise came into effect. We're going to give you, like, they should have given him a little bit more. Like, here's a $2 to $5 million raise. I don't know that the incentives will even get him to that level. I forget what the amount was. It felt like $1 million or something, which is, look, to any of us, that'd be great. But for Ekeler, market value-wise, comparatively, he should have got a huge, $2, $3, $4, $5 million raise. Here you go. Thank you for just doing what you did, putting your body on the line, playing extra, positionally. You were playing wide receiver, running back, tight end. You're playing everything out there last year, Ekeler. Here you go. But he's 28 years old. So as much as I do say, hey, Barkley should be getting paid, running back should be getting paid, Ekeler is 28 years old. He's thinking he's getting a 3 or 4 year deal. And he thinks he's different. I'm special. I can play for 4 or 5 more years. If you asked Ekeler, and I don't blame him, I'd feel the same way. I'm sure I'd feel the same way. None of us know when to hang it up. Maybe I should hang it up right now. Maybe I have no idea that I'm sitting out here lingering and I should be hanging it up. I have no clue. I think I could go another 15 years. Maybe I can only go another 8. I don't know. Ekeler thinks he could play for 3 or 4 years. And he's not. But that's what he wanted. So Isaac, he was getting offered, hey, here's this little here's a little extra, wet your beak. Here you go. And he denied it and wanted to go the other route. But I understand where you're coming from still, and to a degree, I still agree with you. What do you guys think about Jacoby Myers in 2023? Not even crossing my mind at all. Not too excited about Jacoby Myers. He's always had upside. I'll give him that. But have I drafted him once in Underdog Fantasy? Promo code Smitty will be drafting tomorrow night. I'm sorry we didn't draft last night or do a panic chamber. I'm just getting ready for this Vegas, marathon that I'm going to do. And I went so hard yesterday on the Alvin Kamara news that I had to take a little bit of a snoozer last night, okay? We still live streamed longer than any channel you could find yesterday, and I didn't do a third live stream, so shame on me. We went live about 5 hours yesterday on all Kamara and all the news that was jumping around. So tonight we won't be likely going live. I always potentially could do a Dynasty show, but I'll probably take it easy tonight again, because it's Wednesday and I normally don't go live at midnight on Wednesdays, because I'm going to Vegas and I'm doing a 4, 5, 6 hour, who knows however the hell long it's going to be, live stream in Vegas on Saturday all morning and afternoon. And then I'm doing a Saturday graveyard stream. And when I arrive in Vegas the day before on Friday, I'll be set up in the cabana at the sports book at Circa doing a live stream in preparation of everything going on. So get ready, get excited. Vegas streams are coming. They're coming for you. There's going to be 4 of them, Friday and Saturday, 2 on each day. And so we won't be drafting tonight, but on Underdog Fantasy, promo code Smitty, you can get ready to draft on Thursday. We'll be drafting on Thursday night. Another super chat here from Cool Guy. Cool Guy says, "Do you believe in the Chargers defense?" I don't know. I wouldn't say I don't believe in them. I'm not a huge believer in the Chargers this year. Based on last year, I'm just waiting for this offense to change. I'm waiting for Moore to prove he can come over and just make a difference right away. Just because Kellen Moore's had, a lot of success in creating a very, very nice, potent passing attack, top 5-ish offense, every year. Doesn't mean he just walks over and magically fixes everything. There are a lot of problems going on in LA last year, a lot of injuries, some things you can't control. And while Quentin Johnson is there to potentially save the day if both wide receivers go down, and both Mike Williams and Keenan Allen, I believe I'm remembering this correctly, but both of them played, I think, a maximum of 3 or 4 games together in 2022. So, I'm just going to let everybody else dive back into the Charger situation, and I'm just going to watch for a year. There's no reason when you can get Burrow in 4, Fields in 5, Trevor Lawrence in 6 and 7. I don't need to touch the Herbert situation until next year, and I still believe in him. I still very much like Herbert, and a lot of people get upset over this, but we got to wait and see on this one, in my opinion, and that's just my opinion. So no, I don't really necessarily believe in the Chargers defense. I don't really believe, in much yet until we see it bounce back and happen. So appreciate you. Panthers are going young defensively. Yeah, Panthers are going to be exciting, but I think they're going to have some ups and downs. Even though I like Bryce Young and he's going to show some very, very nice, promising things walking into his rookie year and walking through his entire rookie year. But keep in mind how some quarterbacks, even Joe Burrow, looked their rookie year. And there's going to be some ups and downs for him, but we're going to definitely get flashes of what's to come. And hopefully he stays healthy. And we see him, flourish at the NFL level. Circa Pool is dope. Yeah, I'm going to be there. I'll be in the cabana. I'll be in the sports book. I'll be live. It's going to be an amazing, amazing show. So doing it live. Do you believe in the life after love? Do I believe in life after love? J-Rob, I think I do. I do. I don't know. Any idea who I should grab at 1.6 in a Dynasty startup? If Bijan's gone, and of course JJ and Chase are gone, then you got a dilemma on your hands, son. you got a dilemma on your hands. You're probably trading down. I'm probably trading down to get me some Jahmyr Gibbs, or Breece Hall, or potentially a Garrett Wilson or St. Brown or someone like that. But I don't like that number 6 pick, really, if Bijan's not there. Gibbs is somebody I'd take really, really high, but I don't think I would take him that high. Not because he can't earn it, but because he doesn't go there. You'd be just reckless with your value. The ability to trade that pick away and get something more in conjunction with the pick you would get to draft Jahmyr Gibbs if you move down a little. But that's a tough spot to be in. So glad he answered that. I was hilarious. I could think of was the song after he said that. Appreciate you, J-Rob. Okay. Bama's calling in real quick. Bama, first of all, appreciate your $20 hauler, my guy. What can I do for you, Bama?
Hey, I was just curious. Have you heard from Ron Navy how his wife's doing, Miss Navy?
Yeah. If he's in the chat, I'll let him call in, and if he's got an update for us, we'll see if he calls into the show today. What else? What else you got, Bama?
I'm gonna get you to judge my team that I just done on Underdog Fantasy. Code word Smitty.
Okay, code word Smitty. I like it. That's a smart man right there. Let's write this team down, Bama. You've earned a marker board session, some marker board therapy with that $20 hauler. So hit me with it. Go.
All right, I got Joe Burrow, Daniel Jones, and Derek Carr.
Burrow. Okay.
Jahmyr Gibbs, Madison, Swift, Charbonnet, Spears, Gus Edwards, and Deuce Vaughn.
Okay.
Wide receiver, I got Chase, Olave, Dotson, Jamison Williams, Adam Thielen, and Nathaniel Dell. And then tight ends, I got Kincaid and Komet.
Bro, I like it. Very Smitty team. Kincaid and Komet. Okay. So, fantastic. And what I usually do when someone drops a team like this, bro, by the way, Dan the Grim Reacher, separate message. Thanks, Smitty. Okay, I'll look for your I'll put it right over here. I think it's right here. Thank you, Dan. Appreciate you. I'll get to you next. When I look at a team like this, bro, a lot of what I do is like go through the motions of, okay, where are these guys in a draft? And I say to myself, okay, Jamar Chase is a round 1 pick, but he's a solid round 1 pick. So I'm gonna circle that. You've got Olave, who is a solid, strong, 2 pick. Let me move Dotson up so we can see him. Your 3rd round pick, I mean, really, you could argue that both of these guys are both strong 3rd round picks. And I think Gibbs, you try and get in round 4, and you either got Burrow in 4 or Gibbs in 4, so you did a great job there. So you've got 2 3rd round picks in my mind right there. So then you look at the rest of this team and you say, okay, who's your 4th round pick? I don't know who you took, or your 5th round pick. I don't know who you took first, Madison or Swift. I imagine Madison. So both these guys are absolute, decent 5-6 round territory guys. Dotson's a great 6-7 round territory guy. Charbonnet in the 8th round. Jamison in the 8th. I mean, you did good. There's no hole here. I hate when I find a team and I literally can't tell who their 4th round pick was. But you have 2 3rd rounders essentially. So you got that. Your grade in terms of getting value, I would say 8 out of 10 in terms of making the best pick when on the clock every time you're on the board. So it's a great job. Great job.
I appreciate it. I've been wanting to do the 3 top quarterbacks, but like you said, I haven't forced it, and I haven't had one to fall to me yet. But I'm wanting to do a team because I love that team that you drafted on that.
Yeah, it's not for everybody. I definitely get a lot of hate on it. Like some have said, Smitty, that's absolutely crazy. What he's talking about is this right here. This is my 3 quarterbacks in a 1 QB best ball draft. That's different than drafting, if anybody's like what? You drafted 3 quarterbacks like this? Hurts, Burrow, and Fields in a 1 QB? Are you out of your mind? But in best ball, there's a theory I've had for a while that I've wanted to test out when it fell naturally, that I would dominate quarterback scoring, optimally, because I don't have to, it's optimal scoring. I don't have to set my quarterback. It's whoever's the highest scoring single quarterback per week will automatically start for me. I have a theory that these guys are going to, they'll average around, I forget what they average on Underdog. I want to say it says like 26 points or something like that, or 29 points, 26. I have a feeling that instead of averaging 26 points, let's call it, I'm going to average 40 or 39 or whatever it is. And maybe if you had 2 of them, you'd average, instead of 26, you'd have 32. I have a feeling I'm going to annihilate, not just outscore everybody like you would expect, but annihilate everybody at quarterback, because not only do I have by far, in a way, the best quarterback stable, I've essentially taken a majority of the quarterback power away from a majority of the league. So my chances of potentially dominating this group of 12, and I forget, this isn't a weekly. This is one where you do advance each round. So I'm tempted to do it in the weeklies too. But the only problem with the weeklies is I find myself saying, would I rather just have my one quarterback pop off 1 week, because you're not trying to maximize that rotational scoring all year. So it doesn't feel as successfully, I don't know, crafty in a weeklies contest. But look at this team here. Well, by drafting these 3 quarterbacks, I still ended up with Breece Hall, Alvin Kamara, Zach Charbonnet, Jerick McKinnon, Kendre Miller. And you could say those running backs are kind of like, not the best, but very good. Kamara and Kendre Miller cuffed together, Breece Hall, Charbonnet, McKinnon. There's a lot of upside right there in that running back stable. This is not weekly. This is I don't know if it's a Pomeranian. I forget if it's a Pomeranian. Jefferson, Dotson, Tony, Dell, Josh Downs, Ross, Charlie Jones, Kincaid, and Cole Kmet. So yeah, this is one of my favorite teams. It's not for everybody, but it's a fantastic team considering I have those 3 quarterbacks and it's a 1 QB. So one of my favorite squads that I've drafted. But you got to do it naturally. You can't force it like you and I just said. You got to literally be on the clock and sitting here looking at Joe Burrow and saying, God, I just don't want to draft anybody here. I'm going to take Joe Burrow. Now I got Hurts and Burrow. And I didn't plan on taking Fields as well. But when I got to the pick where Fields was there, I didn't like any of the players there. And I literally would have to force something. So it happened naturally. And it's a crazy strategy. But I like it a lot. Bama, hold on. I'm going to come right back to you. Gibbs or K9, if you could guarantee me Zach Charbonnet, then it's even. But Gibbs over Walker for me, but I want both of them. That's an amazing duo. If you want a amazing wide receiver strategy, and you go like Garrett Wilson and St. Brown, you take Gibbs and Walker if you can pull it off. And you got yourself 2 amazing running backs at amazing cost. Dan the Grim Reacher says, I know we don't like Jacobs, but if I can get him for Dillon in a second as my bench running back, should I do it? Absolutely. If not just for trade value, but that's buying him way below any sort of, that's baking in every single bit of risk I'm talking about. Absolutely do that. I don't think you can get that. If you can get that, that's crazy, bro. Why would anybody, he should be overvalued. Why would anybody get rid of him coming off the year he had, even though I'm expecting a decline? I don't know why someone would give Jacobs for Dillon in a second rounder. That is absolutely crazy, bro. Unless that second rounder is some sort of keeper league where you're keeping 3 guys and you're getting a different pick than I think. But if that's a rookie only second round pick, that's insane. I got Bijan, Aaron Jones, Rashad, and Herbert as my other running backs win now team. I'd definitely trade him though. I would take him and then I'd flip him and I'd go across position, because you're probably not going to get the value. Someone's going to see what you did and everyone's going to be like, I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm not going to make a trade with him. But if you went across position and got a Drake London, a Christian Watson, a potential quarterback upgrade, something like that, like you turn your quarterback 7 or 8 into Joe Burrow, that's what I would use Jacobs for in a dynasty setting. So great job. I like it. Smitty approved. Absolutely 100. All right, Scuba, did you have another question? Or are you still thinking? All right, Bama. Bama, you got anything? Bama and Scuba, are you there? Are either one of you there? Are you both on mute?
I was on mute. This is Bama.
Bama, what's up? You both were on mute.
Hey, what's up, man?
I mean, you were
I
supposed
just went
to
to
be on
talking in, and I was like, what in the world is going on?
Yeah. What else you got?
I haven't heard you talk a lot about him. Out of the quarterbacks, where do you rank Carr at this year?
Derek Carr, it's a good question. 470 caller, who's this? I'm going to put you on hold briefly. Who's this? It's I think. Oh, I think.
Yeah.
What's up, my guy? Hang tight for me real quick while I answer Bama's question, and I'm coming straight to you. Bama, Derek Carr. Derek Carr is a player that I very, very much like this year, but not for the reasons that people probably think when I say that. I like him for Olave. I like him for Kamara, Kendre Miller, or Jamal, if you like. I like him for Taysom Hill, because Taysom Hill is going to be all over the field, and Derek Carr could maybe deliver it to him in a way that we haven't seen before. And having Derek Carr back there with defenses being spread out and not stacking the boxes is going to probably make Taysom Hill have a lot more room to run. You know what I'm saying? So if they throw to Taysom Hill, unlike in the past where they're crowding the line of scrimmage, trying to make this team, force things, Derek Carr, whether you like him or not, whether you think he's going to change and become a winner, versus going and becoming a Raider, gunslinging but losing, gunslinging from behind and making mistakes, but also looking good and forcing the ball down the field. If you think, I think that he's a great addition for this offense. And they've got a top 10 defense. They've got weapons all over the place. They've got weapons galore. Wouldn't be shocked at all if he's a top 12 quarterback. Wouldn't be shocked one single bit. But I'm also not necessarily expecting him to be an absolute monster for me, like in a starting lineup role. In a super flex, absolutely. He's a great QB2. But I'm not starting him in one single redraft league. I'm going to have bigger name quarterbacks. But he's amazing for Olave. Why is he amazing for Olave? Because look what he just did with Devontae Adams. He freaking turned Devontae Adams in a horrible situation. Bad offense. Horrible defense. Bottom 3-4 defense every single year. Just bad team. And they crumbled. But look what happened to Jacobs, and look what happened to Devontae Adams because of Derek Carr. And they get rid of this guy. And they bring in Jimmy G when he made this rushing attack and wide receiver room open up. It's crazy.
Hey, Smitty.
Yeah.
Smitty, the way you explained that made me think about something. When you said spread them out and use Taysom Hill, do you think they might use Taysom Hill like a Deebo Samuel? Right there on the line and let him, like you said, run wild.
Do I think they will? No, I know they will. But to what degree? I don't know. Will it be sporadically? Sure, it could be. Is he going to be Deebo Samuel? No. Is he going to be used like Deebo Samuel, but in shorter amounts of time? Yeah, because they've already said.
I got you.
Remember last year he wasn't playing quarterback at all. They're like, we want him not focusing on quarterback. We're gonna line him up at wide receiver. We're gonna work him as a tight end, whatever. This year, they're lining him up all over at quarterback. Not because they don't trust in Carr, but because they want to get him on the field. They're putting him at quarterback. They're putting him at tight end. They're putting him at running back. They're putting him at wide receiver. Taysom Hill better get multiple position eligibility at some point, or these league management platforms and these apps that we're running our leagues on are scared. They're scared. They're scared of pushback. They're scared of all the complaining Calebs that are going to email them and go, this isn't fair. When I drafted Taysom Hill, he wasn't a quarterback. So why is he playing quarterback right now? Take him out of the player pool. I wouldn't be surprised if ESPN took him out of the player pool. They said, hey, we're removing him from everyone's lineup because it's unfair and we're getting a lot of complaints. I don't know what Taysom's going to do. I don't know how consistent he's going to be, but I'll definitely take Taysom Hill in a best ball draft where he could drop a 40-point game once or twice on the year. Do I think he scores like a top 5 tight end all year? No. He probably gets hurt at some point. But in best ball specifically, and as a backup tight end, when you feel that fire brewing and he's going to do something, and I should be able to, I'm pretty good about Taysom Hill. I should be able to give you a little warning, hopefully a week ahead. But Taysom Hill is a backup, plug and play, get him in there when he's hot. Very, very good in redraft, but very amazing in Dynasty. He's one of the best backup tight ends you could draft in, I'm sorry, not Dynasty, best ball. One of the best backup tight ends you can draft in best ball, period, because he'll be put in your lineup and you won't have to worry about it. Dynasty is not a great grab in Dynasty. I didn't mean to say that. Although, if I'm weak at tight end and people are afraid of how old he is, I'd pick him up if he's there. I picked him up in one Dynasty, a very shallow league, but I traded away Travis Kelce in that league. I did that it's a follower league, and I did it live on the show. I gave Kelce up for 3 first-rounders. I didn't really want to do it, but I was able to squeak out a lot from him. It's from Spacula. Spacula in the building, brofist on that great value you gave me. But I didn't have a tight end after that, so I picked up Taysom Hill. Hang tight, Bama. Let's go over to I Think. I Think. You're live, pal.
Schmitty, what's up, man? Thanks for everything that you do. Salute to everybody in the chat. You guys are a wonderful community. I really wanted to talk about Eric Gray over on the Giants behind, Saquon and Matt Breida. Let's just hypothetically speak on what if he does sit out, right? Does Eric Gray have a chance in the NFL? I see that he had over 1,300 yards in his last year in Oklahoma. Do you think his skill set translates over to the NFL? And is he worth a consideration? I mean, he was a 5th round. You know what I mean? So I put things into perspective from that standpoint as well. But I mean, the chances of that being a thing, is it a chance?
I don't know. I think Breida, the last report I have is Breida safe number 2 option behind Barkley. He's I don't see any news on Gray climbing up or having some sort of, he's not going to threaten the number 2 job as of yet. Could it happen? Absolutely. Anything can happen, but I'm not getting a sense that he's climbing and putting himself in a crazy position. Maybe in a deep dynasty league, I'm okay with it, but yeah. What else
cool.
you got? What else you got? That
was it.
Yeah, cup him to Breida. Breida's the guy that's going to go in there right now. But keep an eye on him. Keep tabs on him. Any of these young rookies, any of these guys that you have a gut instinct on, just keep tabs on them. If it's a deep league and you're like literally, have trash on your roster because it's such a big roster, then yeah, cuff them and wait, or taxi squad them and wait. You never know, bro. Arian Foster was an undrafted free agent. Arian Foster was an undrafted free agent. Wasn't used until week 16 and week 17 during that first year. And all I had was that glimpse of him, bro. And I took him, I started promoting him as the biggest breakout walking into 2010, I believe it was. 2010. Him and LaShawn McCoy, believe it or not, LaShawn McCoy was super undervalued. McCoy was going around 4 or 5. Foster was going in around 5, 6, 7. He's going in 7 in like February, March. And back then, mock drafts weren't as big and prevalent. And then as you started getting into like May and June, Arian Foster climbed into like round 5. And McCoy climbed into like round 4, if I remember correctly. But those are my 2 biggest breakout players for that 2010. And I did that on CBS Sports Radio as 2 of the 2 bold predictions I have for the year. Both of them crushed, bro. And honestly, you just never can see, you never know what these guys can do. I mean, I saw those 2 coming, but you never know. There could be a player that completely breaks loose and becomes that guy. And if you got a gut feeling on him, just, grab him and hold him. So don't listen to anybody else.
Yeah, just trying to get your perspective. I've heard 1 or 2 other people, talk about them. And, I think, your perspective is pretty darn gnarly. So
thanks. Appreciate it.
Thought I touch base with you and,
All right.
kind of get what you think.
All right, hang tight there if you want to stay on the line here, and if you got another question, just let me know. Scared Scott's on the line. Scared Scott, what are you doing, pal? Let's go. Let's see if do we have Scared Scott music? I think we might. Go ahead, Scared Scott. What are you concerned about today? You're on mute, Scared Scott. Don't be scared of that unmute button.
I'm sorry. There it is. I'm sitting there talking, doing the same thing the other guy was doing.
Yeah, everybody's doing that.
No, I don't have any. I was looking for advice instead of spewing out my stupidity. If I'm thinking about seeing what happens if I wait just a little bit longer on the QB situation, my strategy so far is like if I'm at the back end of a draft, that third round pick, I've been kind of using as the trigger for that second run of quarterbacks, which seems to work out well for me because I'm getting some great value at round 6 because of it. But I'm contemplating on kind of going back to the old school where I got burned a bunch last year and going a little later at quarterback. If I decide to do that, out of that group below that tier of 7 with Prescott, Watson, Tua, Cousins, which one of that group do you think is the best and to pick up a little later? And should you go, if you decide to go that route, should you go bam, bam?
Yeah, okay, I got you. You're dragging again there, Scott. Look, my thinking on this is that there's almost no reason to do that this year. The quarterback pool, I liken this to parachutes on a plane going down. You're drafting and your plan isn't going, to plan. And you're sitting there and maybe Hurts, you're hoping Hurts falls to the top of 3 or whatever you're thinking at the moment, and he doesn't. And you're sitting there in round 4 and Joe Burrow's there. Joe Burrow gets taken. I mean, Fields is there in round 5. Trevor Lawrence is there in round 6. Herbert is there in round 7 if you guys want to go Herbert. I just don't think there's any reason to just say, oh, because I can get Dak in later rounds or because I can get, this player in later rounds, the value's there. Like, of course, the value's there everywhere. Like, you could say the same thing about a wide receiver, that like if the value for wide receiver is so good later, why don't I just wait on a wide receiver and go quarterback early? It makes no sense to me to not go down a road of a really comfortable potential top 5 quarterback when they're sprinkled out from round 4 to 6. Like T. Law could be a top 5 quarterback and he's sitting in round 6. Fields could be a top 1 to 2 quarterback and he's sitting there in round 5. How much value do you want to push downstream just so you can say, the QB pool is so deep, I waited, when it's sitting right in front of you? Let me ask you this. Do you like Fields? Do you think Fields could be the number 1 quarterback in the National Football League?
He reminds me a lot of the same pattern that Hurts went through.
Okay, so you agree that Fields could potentially be the number 1 quarterback in the National Football League?
Yeah, I think it's potential.
Okay.
I don't think he has a receiver that Hurts had,
but there's the running and okay, so there's
Sure.
the potential for it. Do you think that quarterbacks could outscore everybody? He could be the number 1 scorer in all of fantasy football if he's the number 1 quarterback. Do you think there's another player past where Fields is going around 5 that could be the number 1 overall scorer in the entire season?
Well, that's a point for sure.
So that's when I say to somebody, what are you looking for when you get the Fields around 5? And maybe you think it's Herbert, and that's fine too. Use the process, not the player. If you think it's Herbert, close your eyes and envision every time I say Fields, I'm saying Herbert. But for me, it's Fields. If Fields is sitting there in round 5 And I'm telling you, he might be the number 1 overall scorer in all of fantasy football 2023. How is that not the best player to grab right there? Why would you kick the can down the road even further and say, well, Dak could be 7? He could be. He could be. They're going to run more, but he could be. Like, who cares? Get Dotson where you're taking Dak. You know? Go get a player that we absolutely love in Dak Prescott's round and pair him with Fields and do the apples to apples comparison. I just don't. That's why every single one of my teams on Underdog, I would say 98% of them. And I love Aaron Rodgers and Jordan Love, and I usually try and get them as a backup on Underdog, to be honest. Underdog Fantasy, we're drafting tomorrow night. The link is in the description of the video. The link's in the description of every video. Use promo code Smitty, but the link inserts promo code Smitty for you. They'll match up to $100 in your first deposit. They also have slow puppies out. I saw a couple of you in the chat saying that, you know, hey, Smitty, they got slow puppies. They do have slow puppies out, which is great. They're $5 entries. But back to my point, I get sidetracked. In the hundreds, and I don't even know how many hundreds of, I don't know if it's 400, 500, 600, 200, 300. I have no idea. In the hundreds and hundreds of best ball drafts that I have, I bet you 98% of them, I don't even have Aaron Rodgers and Love or Anthony Richardson, Aaron Rodgers as a starting combination. Probably in 2 to 3% of all of my hundreds and hundreds of best ball drafts. I have literally Burrow, Fields, Hurts, Mahomes, Josh Allen, T. Law. I have one of those guys, and in many cases, I have 2 of those guys in these 1 QB best balls. 1 QB I'm talking about. I'm not talking about Superflex. I just cannot stop drafting one of those quarterbacks because their values are through the freaking roof.
Then I won't even try.
Well, I'm scared, Scott. You do whatever you want. Just because I'm screaming and yelling about something, can I be honest with you? Because I'm not afraid to admit my faults or my missteps. But I loved Herbert. I loved Herbert as much as I loved Fields last year. Last year, I loved Herbert, and everyone and their mother did, though. So it's not like it's all on me. But I loved Herbert as much as I loved Fields last year, and he failed. So you do got to trust your gut, but this feels like it's more real than anything since Jalen Hurts, who I said in round 6 wins you a league. Like you said, this is very similar. Fields is Jalen Hurts from last year. And I'm not going to let one miss of Herbert ruin that and say, oh, well, we can't go that route because Herbert didn't work out. Or we can't like Najee in the top 10 like we did his rookie year because of Clyde Edwards-Helaire. You're going to play scared, you might as well not even play. Because I'm going to be like Brett Favre. I'm going out there, if I throw an interception, I'm going right back onto the field, and I'm not even letting the interception bug me. I could throw 3 interceptions in a row. In the third quarter, in the fourth quarter, it doesn't affect me. I'm still launching missiles down the field, and I don't care because I trust my process, and I've been doing it a while. I know I'm going to have injuries happen. Javonte and Breece Hall got hurt on my dime last year, and it sucks. But we did so much damage in other places with Hurts and Walker and all those guys. I have faith in our moon men, in our Mars men. Be quiet for a second, Scott. I'm going to show the Mars men real quick. This Mars men list feels like glory.
He's on a shuttle to Mars. Mars men.
I mean, this is the most eclectic monsters you could put together on one screen. Olave, Bijan, Burrow, Chase, Garrett Wilson, Hall, Gibbs, Fields. One more is being added. That video might come tonight or tomorrow. Look for that video. Mars Man Extraordinaire potentially being added.
It's going to be Chig. It better be Chig. Chig needs to be on the Mars Men.
Chig could definitely be on the Moon Men, but he's not going to be on the Mars Men. But Chig is definitely, you're going to have a video that's going to make you really happy coming up soon. There are no, I don't want to spoil the video, but just wait for it. Just wait for it.
That guy looks like one of the best football players I've seen in a while. I think he can freaking
flat out. Okonkwo is a top 5 potential quarterback monster. He's got kind of a bad situation, but the bad situation could benefit him if they're playing from behind.
Not as bad as you think. They targeted tight ends at Tennessee 28% of the time.
Yeah, well, like I said, the situation is bad, but in a way that could benefit him because they'll be playing from behind. Hold on one second, Scott. 301 caller, you're live. Who's this? What's up, Robbie? Appreciate you. What can I do for you?
Well, first thing, I just wanted to give you props. I think you do great work. I've been doing fantasy myself for 20-ish years now, and I've only been really watching and following you for about a year or so. I discovered you last when you were going through kind of the draft evaluation process, but you managed to hop into sort of like one of my top sort of 5 sort of trusted voices when it comes to these things.
Hell yeah.
So, I don't throw out praise lightly, to be honest with you.
There we go,
the guys out there, hundreds, thousands. I thought about doing this stuff myself. I take it very seriously. I've been in a league with some of my best buds. We're entering the 20th year this year. And so in order to prosper in there and do well, you kind of got to be a step ahead of the game at every point in time. And when I hear you talk, I get that feeling. So you and a handful, I'm not going to bother saying the other names. But I just want to throw that out there first.
All right, appreciate
and then secondly, I just wanted to talk about just a little bit of a strategy. I made a big move about a week ago, and this is everyone's league is unique. Mine is particular. I'm talking about like a 12-team league, 1 QB, 2 running back, 3 receiver, flex. We did away with kickers a few years ago. No regrets. See ya. And everybody keeps 4 players basically every year, potentially in perpetuity. I happen to have the good fortune of drafting Jamar Chase a couple years ago. And I love him. But I fell in love with Bijan Robinson throughout this whole process. And about a week ago,
like a therapy session.
I moved Chase and Burrow for Bijan, and then a decent pick of this year's draft, and then a top future.
All right, hold on. Let's break down that trade because I don't like the sound of it already. But hold on, let's check it out. I love Bijan, but Chase. Is it a 3 wide receiver league?
We have to start. We start 3. I want to ship with Chase as a rookie. It fell short last year, and actually, the guy I traded him to is the guy that I crushed in the finals. Chase's rookie year, and he's been angling for it since.
Who did you got? You got Bijan and what for Chase and Burrow?
So the league format is kind of important, right? Because 48 players are kept every year. So the top people that you're looking at the next year's draft are elite rookies, right? Like the Bijan and Gibbs this year and Brees last year and all that. And then the top guys that get dropped off contenders because you can only keep 4. So last year, last year, I ended up dropping A.J. Brown. I didn't want to, but I was just stacked.
All right, hey, as fast as you can. That we can't stay too much on one question. So go real quick.
I'm sorry. I don't want to ramble on too much. So I apologize for that. But moving, the idea, I guess, I moved Chase, and I had to throw in Burrow there to get the first overall pick. I already had the second overall pick, and my idea is basically to start a fresh
Bijan and what? Bijan and what? Bijan and what?
Bijan and Gibbs.
Okay, so no. You had the pick already. What did you get with Bijan giving up?
So I got Bijan. I got a 3rd round pick this year, which is going to probably be – these drafts are hard to tell. So I got a 3rd round pick, which is going to provide me, I'm thinking, some sort of wide receiver 4 type pick, or, hopefully some upside. And then I got a first next year from the worst team in the league, which I'm hoping will become another premium.
I'll say this:
player.
If you end up getting Marvin Harrison, then
that's what I want.
Yeah,
that's what I want.
This could work out. This could work out well for you, but at the same time, one could argue it's still even. Burrow's that good, but who's your quarterback after you made that trade?
So I'm not keeping a quarterback. So because it's like you're locked into keepers, I traded away 2 of my keeper spots. So I'm going into the year with Garrett Wilson and Kenny Walker, and then I'm planning on drafting Bijan Gibbs and I have another first-round pick, and I have 4 second-round picks because I was sort of in a
it's too complicated to really work out, to be honest. Like there's so many things we have to go.
It's fair.
But I would say that in general, I mean, you need to pray that ends up being Marvin Harrison Jr. because let's say you get JSN, like JSN's the 1.3 or 4, right? This year, if you got the 1.3 or 1.4, I'd rather have the Chase Burrow side, and I love Bijan. Especially in a wide receiver format like that. But if you get Marvin Harrison Jr., then you're going to make out like a bandit, especially if you can fill that quarterback spot with T. Law and people aren't drafting quarterbacks. You scoop one up and you're good to go. But hard to know how that's going to work. I wouldn't say you made a bad move or anything like that. I just don't know. On paper, it doesn't look great yet, but if that becomes Marvin Harrison, right now this is just a first rounder, an unknown first rounder. But if you truly believe it will be the number 1 overall pick, then it could be a deal that looks better later. But this is quite a combo to give up Chase Burrow and Dynasty. Woo! I mean, that's 12, 15 years of glory, bro. And
reputations are on the line. So I mean, all right,
hang
got
tight.
A pretty good track, but...
All right, hang tight.
Sure.
Let me swing back to a couple other people.
Ready, how we doing?
Let's go over to Rob, and then we're gonna go over to the Bruce.
How about me, Smitty? I've been here for 20 minutes.
Who's this?
This is Josh.
Josh. Oh, I'm sorry, Josh. Let's go to Josh. Sorry, Josh.
No, it's all good. I've been waiting patiently, but I was just wondering when you're going to Vegas because I'm actually going this week. I thought
I'll be in Vegas on
with you and Danny.
I'll be there on Friday. Friday, I'll be in the Cabana at Stadium Swim. I'll be live doing my normal show. This show right here, 4 p.m. Vegas time, 7 p.m. Eastern. I'll be doing it from the pool side. So I'll be there.
That's awesome. Are you going to have a monitor or a camera?
Yeah. I mean, I'll have it set up. I'll be live streaming like normal. Yeah. Well, phone lines, all that stuff. So it'll be good. It'll be a good show. It might be a little dialed down than normal. I might not have everything that I usually have, but I'll have a lot, and it'll be good. It'll be fun.
That's awesome.
So yes, 4 p.m. Vegas, I'll be live streaming per usual, and then the next day from about 9 a.m. until 2, 3, and then I'll do some graveyard streams as well at like midnight. So look for all that. It might be more like 11 p.m. midnight Vegas time. So it could be 2 a.m., 3 a.m., but probably 2 a.m. Eastern. The graveyard shift will be a little bit later than normal because I'll be doing a ton of things. I got to go get my steak dinner from Bill the Tickler. I believe that's on Friday, right, Bill? Bill, are you here? Anyway, any other questions, Josh? Before I move on to the next person, I'd love to help you with a fantasy question if you got one. Garrett, mid-August, Garrett.
I wanted to just get your feedback on ETN. I mean, I loved him last year. I love the talent, but I mean, he's absolutely plummeting on boards right now. And it's hard not to lose a little bit of faith when you see that happening. How are you feeling about it?
Yeah, I think that a lot of the times when you do see something over and over and over, it does kind of deflate your hope or the balloon a little bit. But I think also what also does that is just not hearing anything. Like in the case of Jalen Hyatt, you don't hear anything, or you hear something really minor, like he's been working with the third team. Nothing negative, just like he's been working with the third team. Oh my God. It's something that's not going to ever, develop or come to fruition. But I think with ETN, the fear is Tank Bigsby. The fear is that, they have a running back by committee mentality. The fear is there have been some coaching comments that have said we want to dial back ETN's, carries. But what we haven't heard is, but we want to dial up his receptions, and I think that's what we're hoping happens. And there is some risk to it. But I think given the risk, the fact that he's falling, it's great. Because if he falls into, let's say he falls into round 4, then he's got every bit of that risk baked in, and I'm not concerned a single bit. I'm not even concerned at all. At 3.4, 3.2, like I'm liking him, but I'm also equally a little concerned, because why didn't they pass to him? Why didn't they give this man like 60 receptions? He's one of the very best receiving backs in the National Football League, Travis Etienne. And they didn't throw to him at all. And why is that? And will that change? I don't know. And T-Law is his former college quarterback. You'd think he'd be like, I'll figure out a way to get him the football. And he didn't. But the one thing I guess the solace you could have here would be that this team was implementing a new offense again because Urban Meyer failed, and that was a miserable reset year for everybody. Etienne's rookie year, he didn't play a single snap. And so Etienne, rookies usually don't catch a bunch of passes. I think Bijan's going to and Gibbs are going to blow that standard out of the water. But usually running backs kind of ease their way into PPR work because they're learning pass protection. Teams don't trust them to protect the quarterback quite yet. Not only are you learning more pass protection in the NFL because some college schemes don't even use players, like Walker didn't get used in the passing game a lot. So even though he has the skill set to become a top 2, 3, 4 running PPR running back in the National Football League, Walker does. Walker could be a top 4 PPR running back in the National Football League. He didn't get used enough, so he's still learning the position and figuring it out, especially for that offense. So Etienne had a rookie year, essentially, even though it was his second year. That was his first year playing. And so we got to account for maybe that's why he didn't get involved in the receiving game. So my hope is that his ADP continues to decline because that package is in every single bit of risk. That's like Najee. Would I like Najee at 3.2? Yes and no. Do I like Etienne at 3.2, 3.5? Yes and no. It's like the same player to me, even though they're very different. They're the same player in terms of risk because they have ceiling that's ungodly. It's top 5 running back ceiling. They both do, but they both have a large amount of risk when they're positioned in the third round as a third drafted player. Not so much because of the round itself, but because of the players around them and the fact that you can get safer players. So it's more about the other players, not really about those guys. You know what I mean?
Right, got it. I just can't believe week after the season ended, you had him at 6 overall. I mean, it's just crazy how things can change.
I had him at 6 overall?
Yeah, you did, in your mock, right when about the week the season ended.
Oh yeah, we did a mock. Yeah, I mean, hey,
and
where,
it wasn't great. It wasn't crazy at the time.
But where I have him is going to fluctuate based on where the market is. So, like I just said, he's a top 5.
Understand. I understand. I'm just saying, it's crazy how the sentiment.
It is
not just yours, but everyone's can change.
It's insane, bro. It's insane. All right. Well, let me circle around. If you don't mind muting, if everybody can mute, there's a lot of background noise, and it's kind of constant. So if you guys can mute real quick. Josh, if you got something else, pop in, or you just hung up. Rob, you're live, and then I'm going to the Bruce.
Oh, right on, man. Yeah, so the other thing I would want to kind of follow up is I think it's also, the way trends are going, the importance of that kind of top quarterback you want to land. And that did hurt me when, I moved Burrow because I loved having that stack for a while. But I'm kind of looking, but I've got some decent names that are still available that I'm looking to pick up probably in, one of my first round picks coming up. And I'm a little partial to Lamar. I think he's poised to come back quite in a significant way. But then again, like when I look at Herbert, who I also think is poised to come back in a significant way, or T-Law, who may be the next guy takes that big jump.
Thanks, D-Class.
Do you think there's any of those guys that is worth reaching on above one or the other, or just sort of, be happy with whoever falls down that way? If I can get one of them.
Well, I mean, the 4 best picks in fantasy football 2023, 2 of them are quarterbacks. Joe Burrow 4, Fields 5. T-Law would be borderline on this list as the 5th best pick in fantasy football, or the 6th best pick. There's a couple guys that I really like that could be, if I was to add to this and not narrow it down to 4. So honestly, I'm going to tell you those guys. Obviously, like give me Fields, give me T-Law, give me those guys. I want I wouldn't draft Fields over Lamar because you don't need to, but I want him. Like, if we couldn't trade, I'm taking Fields over Lamar, and Fields is going around 5. Lamar's going around 3. So I'm not a big believer in Lamar Jackson, really. I know that there's upside, and let's be real. I called him a bust last year. I said stay away from him. I didn't just say, oh, I'm not really liking him. I said he's a bust. He's going to bust. I got a lot of heat for that. Do you know how much heat I got for that heading into the first 4, 5, 6 weeks too? Because he was on fire at the beginning. He was on fire. Him and Andrews were bowling out. People were like, I'm winning championships off of this stack. And they were bowling out. They really were bowling out. Like, he was like the number one. He was like top 2 quarterback, I imagine, in the first 4 or 5 weeks. But the thing about Lamar is there's always something. There's always something. 3 years in a row, he's completely disappointed you if you've drafted him at a high value, and now he's going in the 3rd round. Like, if he was packaged in the 5th round, the risk was packaged in the 5th round, that'd be different. I still take Fields and Lawrence over him, but I could understand it. We start getting really close. But 3rd round, the guy had a PCL, 2-3 grade PCL tear. His offense is changing. We don't know what that's going to look like. He's got new wide receivers, which is great. I think those are all positives, but I don't think 3rd round feels good. Bama says, did I see the super chat? Yeah, Bama, I got right here. Would you take Michael Thomas? Let me go over to Bama real quick, Josh, and then I got to go over to the Bruce. Bama, would you take Michael Thomas over Chris Olave? That's funny, Bama. Are you playing on some of these guys out here? First of all, thank you for the $10 holler. That's a moon shot. Garrett, appreciate your super chat earlier. I did see that. I put a response right here. Mid-August, the Marsmen and Moonmen drafts are going to be. We'll have plenty of time to discuss the right date and time for everybody. But this is crazy. Like, there are so many people that are I don't want to say a lot of people, but that are loud. There's so many people that are loud about it. Like a small group of people, but they're very loud about Michael Thomas over Olave. It's just head scratching to me. Head scratching to me. I don't even understand it, Bama. I don't get it. Are you one of them, Bama, or are you just making fun of it?
No, I'm just making fun of it. I was watching, rewatching one of your shows to get some takes off of it, and I seen it, and I was like, I get him stirred up and get him fired up about it.
Yeah, isn't it weird, though? Like, I understand if somebody, like, this is what people say. It's not like somebody saying, at cost of entry, I kind of don't like where Olave's climbed to. And I really do like Mike Thomas at round 9 or 10 a little bit more. You know what I mean? Like, if that's what we were talking about, that is a different conversation. Has anybody ever heard me go at somebody's take that has said, I like Olave, but I think he's climbing too high. I like Mike Thomas cost of entry more. No, I've never gone at any. I don't think. Maybe I have. but have I ever gone?
Just to be honest with you, I don't like Michael Thomas at all. I think he had good talent, but he's been injured too much. I think his injury risk is too high. I just don't see it coming back once you get to that age. I mean, I'm sitting here at 44 right now. I mean, I used to do a lot of stuff that I can't do no more at that age, you know, in which I know they're in a lot better shape and a lot better trainers and a lot better being taking care of their bodies. But I just don't like him. I don't have Michael Thomas any of my drafts.
Yeah. So, and Mark Cleveland, thank you for that $5 holler again, Mark Cleveland. You're the man. Mark Cleveland is I'm so glad he's back. So what I was saying earlier though is you come in and you say, I like Mike Thomas cost of entry more. Not going to clown you. I'm not. I'm going to say, okay, I disagree with you, but I understand that. It's a logical thing. But for some reason, the people that are on the Mike Thomas train, and again, it's like a 5% group, or a 4% group. It's very small, but they're loud. They're very loud, and you always think there are more of them because they're so loud. They come in without that take. They come in with the overbearing. Mike Thomas is better than Olave. Like I'd take him over him. Or he's going to outscore him instead of saying I just like the cost of entry better. I know it's a big risk, but I kind of feel like what if at 9th round value Mike Thomas can maybe get close to Olave or maybe surpasses him. No, it's like absolute. It's going to happen. It's similar to when I say, hey, take Bijan over CMC. instead of saying, hey, Smitty, and everybody's got a right to their opinion, and I've got thick skin. I don't care. It's just fun to debate it because it drives me nuts in a good way. It drives me nuts in a good way because I love it. I love it because you guys are going to clean up because of it. But when someone comes in and says, Smitty, that's a crazy take that you would draft Bijan over Christian McCaffrey. You know what's crazy? Not entertaining something like that, at least. If you're going to go down the road of saying, I'm going to bank on CMC at the end of the day, I'm fine with that. I disagree with it, but I'm fine with it. But when you say something like it's crazy, it's nuts, it doesn't make sense, you're taking this extreme stance to something, and you're not open-minded to the fact that Barkley was the number one running back his rookie year, or number 2, depending on your scoring format. The fact that Bijan looks different, runs different, is built different, has a different situation than any other rookie running back. He's coming into the number 1 rushing offense in the National Football League. Not number 5, not number 7, not the Atlanta Falcons, but they're the Atlanta Falcons. People that come in and say Bijan's not going to have room to run, Smitty, because he plays for the Falcons, they don't know football. They know maybe their team, and they probably draft players off an Excel sheet. But if you come in here and say that he went to the Falcons, Smitty, you don't know football. You're telling us you don't know football. And it's okay. We're not mad at you. Not everybody's going to know football, but you don't know football. If you think that the Falcons are a bad landing spot for Bijan Robinson, you don't know. You don't know football because they're the number 1 running attack between the tackles in the National Football League. Plain and simple. They were number 1 in carries. They were I believe they were number 3 in yards, but only behind the Buffalo Bills and Eagles because of the rushing of the quarterbacks. Take those out, they're the number 1 running back system in the National Football League. And if you even add those teams back in and those quarterbacks back in, I believe they were number 1 in carries. They're the number 1 rushing team in the National Football League for an RB to land in. And they're going to be better than they were last year. For someone to say, but Ritter's back there. Ritter was there last year. Ritter was in under center in the final 5 weeks or so. And Algier was a borderline, we'll call it just top 5, depending on different metrics you look at and carries different. Overall, around 5 or 6, we'll call it. Number 5 or 6 running back in those 5 weeks in this system. Imagine what Bijan's going to do. The same concept can be said about MT and Olave and Bijan and CMC. You like one over the other at cost of entry? Great. You don't want to go near Bijan because he's a rookie? Fine. Let us do it. We'll go ahead and take care of it for you. Okay? Get us a coffee. Bama, what else you got? Hello? All right, Bama, hang tight. Harmon, you're live. I think Bama's on mute. Harmon, you're live.
Yo, what's up, Smitty? I had a question for you. How is Bijan's situation not different from Clyde Edwards a few years ago when he was a rookie? I'm having a tough time buying in on Bijan because I remember Clyde when he was a rookie, we hyped him up, situation, all that, but he busted that year.
Bro.
I'm a little wary picking Bijan.
Bro, you didn't just say that, Harmon. Come on, bro.
I mean, I did. I mean, Clyde had the same hype. It's the same situation.
What do
It's
you
hard
mean?
to like
They're
get
not
behind
even,
it.
what do you mean they're not the same player at all? Bijan's a big boy. What are you talking about?
I get it. I mean, Bijan is a little bit of a more of a power back, but like I feel like it just feels like the same thing again, and it's like we're getting hyped
why?
for
Because
rookies
why?
in the
Because
first
it's a
round.
rookie. No. Let me tell you what you're going through, Harmon. Harmon, don't take offense to this. I'm just trying to help you. At the end of the day, I'm trying to help you. I'm going to come a little aggressive at you on this. Like, first of all, I'm taking away your Bijan card. You don't get it.
Your Bijan card has
God.
been revoked.
There's no way you're getting it back. You can't come in and say what you just said and get it back. There's absolutely no way. The fact that you're comparing Bijan Robinson to Clyde, they're totally different running backs. Clyde was a small
when
load.
Clyde was a rookie, when he was a rookie
okay.
and hyped up.
But
you know
what you just said, though, is you're scared of rookies. That's all you said. That's the only thing that came out of your mouth.
That is what I'm saying.
That's the only thing that came out of your mouth.
Lance, I remember that. I am scared of rookies, man.
You are.
Being honest, I'm
That's the
scared of
only
rookies.
thing. There's not that like rather than call in and talk about Clyde Edwards-Helaire, You should just call in and say, Smitty, talk me into drafting rookies because I'm petrified of rookies. Because Bijan Robinson has nothing to do with Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Nothing to do with Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Just because a rookie failed, that is a scared mentality to go into the next class of running back. Not to mention that wasn't even this last class. That was the same type of mentality people had walking out of Clyde Edwards-Helaire's bust year, which we're going to have those, bro. I admit I loved Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I am man enough to admit I missed on that one hardcore. But did that petrify me away from drafting Najee when he exploded his rookie year at number 10 overall?
Najee got a little lucky. He got a lot of dump offs.
Hey, let's not call lucky when he delivered what we said he delivered.
He got a bunch of dump offs man, that year.
No, you were scared of rookies. You stayed away from them.
The same thing.
And you're looking for reasons to tear down your missed call on a rookie. And it's a natural thing. I'm not trying to go at you. I'm trying to help you. Don't cater into your fear. Don't backpedal on something like that and say, well, let me find reasons why it worked out. You're literally trying to find reasons why Najee worked out. You're going to blame dump offs and blame his situation. Did Christian McCaffrey get dump offs? Did Brock Purdy lean on him because he was still kind of very inexperienced and dump off to Christian McCaffrey?
I mean,
how are we going to play that game?
McCaffrey's always a risky pick.
How are we going to play that game, though, where you're going to take away his production? You can't take away his production. But again, Harmon, back to the root of the point. You walked in here and said you think that this is the same thing as Clyde Edwards-Helaire. And this couldn't be further from that.
A few years back.
This is the number one running back prospect that's ever come out of college, potentially. And if you want to argue that Adrian Peterson or Barkley were right there, you can do that. But from my perspective, I've never seen a running back like this. They couldn't be further apart. They're not the same size. They don't play the same. They have totally different games.
The players are different. I'll give you that. The players are different.
So why bring it up? So why bring it up? Just because he's a rookie.
Good head coach.
And let me guess, you're scared of his landing spot, which was the number one running situation.
No, I love Atlanta. I actually love Atlanta.
So how do you not like Bijan? Bro, not only am I look, anybody that you know.
No, I like the idea. It's just like I picked Clyde
Edwards like the idea.
Years ago, and I just can't get behind doing this again in the first round. It's just like, you know what I mean? You know what I'm trying to say?
No, I don't know what you're trying to say. I know what you're afraid of, but I don't agree.
Yeah.
I don't agree at all, and I can't even
I'd much rather take a wide receiver like Kupp or Hill or Chase in the first round, and then get some other running back later.
Late to the party, Harmon. You don't want to be late to the party all the time, bro.
That's true. I mean, no, Bijan could be one of those players. He could have a Saquon year. He could. He certainly could.
Hey, Harmon, you're a good sport, and I appreciate you. But I hate to do this.
Yeah.
Don't get mad at me. I'm not only am I taking away your Bijan card, but anybody you know, I'm taking away their Bijan card too for knowing you.
Your Bijan card has been
oh my God.
That means the 11 other guys in your league. You're probably playing a 10-man league. The other 9 guys in your league, I'm taking away their Bijan cards.
Give me more credit.
Give you more credit. You just called into a live show with over 150 people in here and said that Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Bijan's the same thing.
It's similar.
No, it's not. It's not similar.
It's similar.
Harmon, it's not similar. Okay, hold on, Harmon, just to see if I'm biased here. Let's see. Chat, is it similar or is it not similar?
It's somewhat similar. The players are different, but some arguments are similar.
What argument?
Coach,
what Rookie. He's a man. He's a rookie. He wears shoes.
What?
He has a helmet. What's similar? What's similar about Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Bijan other than the things I'm calling out?
The year that Clyde was coming out, like when he was coming out, it was all about, he's going to be in a great offense. He's going to have Patrick Mahomes. He's going to have Andy Reid. And he was a decent RB that year, but he wasn't a returning first round.
But what does that have to do with Bijan? It has nothing to do. You're talking
Bijan,
about a
thing.
rookie.
He's in a good situation. He's in the number one rushing offense, like you just said, like a few minutes ago.
But what is it? But why is that? But why is that to set him up for failure? Those are all good things.
It sets him up not to fail. He's not going to be a terrible player, but he's not going to be returning first round value, I don't think.
Well, oh God.
Your Bijan card has been revoked.
I'm taking away all of your ancestors' Bijan cards. I'm taking away all your friends' Bijan cards. Anyone that's ever seen you or got a glimpse of you before, I'm taking away their Bijan.
Your Bijan Carr has been
You just said he's going to be okay, or he's going to, what did you say? He's not going to return first round value, but he'll be a good running back, bro. What do you look?
He'll be decent.
What do you look decent? What do you mean he'll be decent?
He's not going to be a home run pick.
What do you mean? What do you mean he'll be decent? What are you talking about, Harmon?
Like, he'll be decent. He'll get 14, 15 points a game.
Harmon, have you ever seen
in the first round?
Harmon, if you don't see this guy as being the running back one of the future, like elite, like the next Tomlinson, I don't know when you'd ever see value in an RB before, ever. I don't think you're only a wide receiver player. You would never draft an RB.
Well, the year Jonathan Taylor went in the second round, and he was the first RB, that's a value. Like a couple years back.
Harmon, we need a lot of you in the world, so please, keep coming around. I'm not trying to push you away from the show or anything, but this is some of the craziest. This is worse than Matt Hatter. Matt called in the other day, and this is worse than that. But Harmon,
what did he say? Hey!
I don't know. Hold on. Let me go around the horn real quick. Scuba, do you agree with anything this man said?
I'm gonna be honest with you, Smitty. I don't. I don't really. I mean, I guess I could I guess in terms of like hype he's trying to say, but if you really look at both players, they're two different players, and Bijan's skill set, like he's a generational talent.
But hype is
the
number one. The number one.
If you really want to say like a more comparable comp, like coming out was like where people I guess like are kind of scared of Bijan, I guess. Is like Saquon Barkley. Like everybody was saying the same thing about him, that he went to the Giants and it wasn't a good landing spot for him, and he ended up turning things around, and he ended up being pretty good. Every like negative guy that you can say that messed up in the first round, like Ezekiel Elliott, Saquon Barkley, there's a bunch of guys that were taken in the first round and they won a lot of people leaves.
You can't lump like the problem that Harmon's doing is he's taking it's hype. He's scared of hype. He's scared of the expectation. And he's essentially saying he sees hype in Clyde and hype in Bijan. Well, let me tell you something, Harmon. Every number one overall running back is always going to have the same hype. Yeah, like Bijan's got more hype, but I'm saying your number one overall pick in rookie-only drafts is going to be hyped to the max. As much as you can hype somebody. So like you can't correlate Bijan to Clyde because they're both hyped. They're both the 1.1. Like that's the problem. Now Clyde failing, you can't let it scare you, Harmon. You can't let it scare you away from going out and hitting a home run. Did Babe Ruth worry about striking out 3 times in a row before he walked out and smacked one right out of the park? No. Babe Ruth walked up, swung like he never swung before, didn't let it affect him. You cannot be petrified like Scott of Bijan Robinson. You wouldn't take him at 1.8. You wouldn't take him at 1.11, I bet.
Are you talking?
Well, I don't know.
Are you asking me that directly, or?
Well, you already answered it. And you said he's not going to be worth the first rounder. So.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't take him at 111.
Let's go to the Bruce. Hold on, let's go to the Bruce real quick. The Bruce has been waiting a while. The Bruce, and then we got Veda. Veda's a Mars man, so we're going to Veda. Bruce, real quickly, and then we go to Veda.
What tier do you put Aaron Rodgers in this year?
He is in that tier of, honestly, I've been the Deshaun Watson tier. I know everybody thinks that's crazy, but like that's where Aaron Rodgers belongs to me. He's got an offense he's never had before. He's got weapons he's never had before. He's got a defense he's never had before. He's got excitement that he hasn't had since he was a young guy in the league. And this team is going places. This team was going places almost without a quarterback. Aaron Rodgers has got toys for days. He's going to annihilate what some of these like high or low touchdown totals are for him. He's going to have well over 30 touchdowns. I love him this year, Bruce. But I still find myself only drafting him like in 5% of leagues because I don't miss. I don't miss on my parachute guys in 5 and 6 and 4. Joe Burrow, Fields, and T. Law. I'm getting one of them 95% of the time. And about 20% of the time in a 1QB best ball underdog fantasy promo code Smitty, I'm getting both of them because I can't resist myself. Hey, Brucey, hang tight. I'll come right back to you. Veda, a Mars man, is on the line right now. He's got a Mars man card, means he jumps straight to the front of the line. Veda, What can I do for you, broski? I imagine that Harmon got you to call in and you got off your recliner and you said, I can't handle this anymore. My ears are bleeding.
I couldn't. I mean, like you said, there's logical arguments and then there's laugh arguments. And Harmon was laughing real hard on that Bijan take. But it's all love.
Yeah.
I have a question about New Orleans and their offense and scheme and what you think about what they're doing down there, because I know you're high on Olave. We're high on Taysom Hill. We're high on Kamara. You like Kendrick. So where does Carr in that back end of those QBs, if you're trying to be cheap with the QB position, how are you positioning him this year? You know, what's some upside in terms of, like, you think he could outperform Tua if he was healthy, or you know,
who outperformed Carr? Okay, Carr. Yeah, you know, I like I said earlier, I don't know if you heard me earlier, but I don't even want to like recommend people go cheap quarterback, because you're gifted a year that we've never really seen before, where you have 3 quarterbacks that are potentially top 4 capable, sprinkled between the 4th, 5th, and 6/7th round. You know, and they're one after the other. So Burrow in 4, but sometimes he falls to 5.2, 5.3. It's crazy. Then Fields in 5 to 6, and T. Law from 6 to 7. And so I can't in good conscience tell you to go get a quarterback like Derek Carr and start him when your objective is to get value. The value's there. The value's screaming at you in the face. And I think if we start trying to get double value, like you're already saying to yourself, I don't want to go early quarterback, right? That's kind of what a lot of people feel. And there's nothing wrong.
I mean,
well, hold on.
I've hit the best ball. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and I don't mean that you're necessarily doing that. I'm saying, like, people have an aversion to going Hurts, Mahomes, Josh Allen in round 2, and I understand the reason why, because you'd rather get another quarterback later. And the truth is, the fact that Burrow, Fields, and T-Law are falling, it does make a lot of sense to not draft Mahomes, Josh Allen, and Burrow and Hurts this year in round 2, because those guys also belong in round 2. And so all I'm telling you is, at the end of the day, nobody should be taking a pass on early quarterback when it's spread out into round 5. You have a chance of getting one of the second-round quarterbacks in Justin Fields in round 5, and one of the second-round quarterbacks in round 4/5 and Joe Burrow, and you're going to pass, not you, but anybody watching, you're going to pass on that because you still feel like, I want to get extra value at quarterback. I want to go very deep. I want to go deeper than any man's ever gone before in the quarterback room and go get me. I want Dak to be it. I anoint Dak to be the guy in an offense that's going to go run heavy more than normal. I like Carr, bro. He's a great backup quarterback. He's an excellent super flex quarterback, but by no means should you be starting Carr when you have these other options that are just staring at you in the face, and there's 3 different parachutes sitting there in round 4, 5, and 6. You can grab one of them and jump out, bro. It's very, 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 very hard to imagine not being able to grab one of them if you botch the first one and botch the second one. And so Carr, to me, shouldn't be starting. I like him. He's a great backup. If, let's say, Fields went down and you had Carr, I think Carr could go in there and throw for 302 touchdowns in any given game. And so I like him. I like Aaron Rodgers, too. I'll start Aaron Rodgers. I'll draft Aaron Rodgers and Carr as a combo. I'll draft Aaron Rodgers and Jordan Love as a combo. I'll draft Anthony Richardson and Carr as a combo. And maybe you start Carr in week 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you eventually roll Richardson out. Those all make sense, but they only make sense if those other options, you miss them, because they're like, I can't tell somebody with a straight face that I can appreciate. What was that?
Yo, that was not me.
Who is that, bro?
So it sounded like someone's going deep, but
I think
look,
me. hey, that happened. Harmon jumped off.
Not me.
Harmon, as soon as that deuce dropped, Harmon jumped like 1 second after. That had to have been Harmon. Harmon shit the bed. Harmon shit the bed on the call, and then he crapped his way on out of here. Wow. Does that answer your question, though, bro? Harmon, appreciate you, by the way.
No, it does. I play a lot of super flex. I got tons of best ball, so I've tried to diversify essentially. And you putting him around like Rodgers and that capability, I mean, that doesn't make Carr a value for your second QB or, like you said, running candidate. So I got my answer. Thank you, buddy.
Yeah. Hey, appreciate you. Don't go anywhere. And if you got another one, drop it out. Bruce, I'm going back to Bruce because Bruce, did you have anything else? I didn't mean to cut you off. Man, that was a ruthless fart, bro.
Yeah, I was gonna tell the guy about the Bijan thing. Maybe you're afraid of Bijan, right? And you're in the 1.1. Well, at least he's there to drop London and Pitts a little bit. Maybe you want one of them.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't know. Part of me thinks the guy is capping now. Because like he farted his way off the phone. But Harmon's called before.
Well,
so
listen, I mean, Michael Thomas, like another one is the Michael Thomas thing. Why would you not take – you don't have any evidence that Derek Carr is going to throw to Olave. He could easily just target Michael Thomas instead. We have no idea what's going to happen. Why wouldn't you take the risk in the 9th round rather than the 2nd?
Now he's going Michael Thomas. We're in trouble.
Yeah, there we go.
I mean, you have no evidence, though, of the fact that he's going to target Olave over Thomas. Like, why wouldn't you just take the risk in the 9th round?
Is this Veda talking? Is this one of my Mars men talking?
No, that's Harmon. I said he's going Michael Thomas territory.
Oh, Harmon. I thought Harmon hung up. I thought Harmon hung up.
I've been here, bro.
Oh, I thought you deuced on out of here. Harmon, did you just say Michael Thomas over Olave?
No, I'm not. Okay, listen, I'm saying we have no evidence who Carr is going to target. Carr, we know he targets one person. He goes after one guy. So, like, why wouldn't we take the risk in the 9th round rather than the 2nd? We don't know who he's going to target.
You're just risk averse. Why do you even draft in the first couple rounds anyway? Why don't you just trade completely out of it? Like, what are you saying? This is exactly what I was telling you, Harmon. Don't keep passing the.
I mean, you just said, like, if you're looking at value, the 9th round, I'd take the risk on Michael Thomas, proven player. I think number one player in fantasy in 2019.
Why can't you do both?
I'm sorry I got this started.
I just don't understand how. Like, I get the thinking. I get it. At least I understand this thinking. You don't like the cost of entry. I even said it earlier. I'm not going to rip apart someone's take if they say. I just don't, for whatever reason, I don't like Olave, Smitty, and I like the idea of Michael Thomas, but this just fits too much into your fear of you don't want to take a gamble on anybody that is yet proven.
I take the gamble on Garrett Wilson in round 2. I mean, if he's there,
he's not going to be.
With Aaron Rodgers, that's a good idea.
He's a round 1 guy.
Top last year.
He's a round 1
Garrett
guy.
Wilson, round 1. Yeah, he's a late round 1, early round 2.
I guess the way I would pose it back to you, though. Again, I'm not going to rip you apart on that one because I said that as long as you are coming and saying I like Mike Thomas over Olave, you're not saying that. You're saying you like the value better. But
no, I like the value better, and it's uncertain what's going to happen.
This
there.
fits
really
a narrative, though. This fits a narrative that I think is going to hold you back, bro. You're not willing to take a swing ever just because it's unproven. You need it to be Captain Obvious, or you're not going down that road. So when you ask me, hey, and let me give you some risk to throw back at you. You ask me,
is a risk too. I mean,
yeah,
he gets
that's what I'm saying.
Quite a bit.
That's what I'm saying. So what would make you think this guy's going to be going downfield every? Like, okay, Carr.
He's not. No, he's a risk. He's 100% a risk.
I know,
but
listen to what I'm saying. Well, listen to what I'm saying, and then give me your answer to see if we're on the same page, or maybe you're going to rethink it after this. But Derek Carr does throw downfield, and he turns players into air yard machines. Given Michael Thomas's slant boy, that's his nickname. That's what he made his reputation on. Slant boy has been injured for like 2.5 years. Okay, this is the guy that you expect to. You're saying maybe he's the guy that he laser locks and targets and throws downfield to. You said downfield too. Mike Thomas isn't going downfield constantly. Mike Thomas isn't going to hold up if he turns into a young tries to get into a role where a young wide receiver is literally ripping off, deep slants and go routes. Like, this guy wouldn't hold up at all if he did that. He's probably not going to hold up no matter what. But so you got to look at, like, when you say, how do you know he's not going to laser lock on him and throw these air yards over to Michael Thomas? That's your answer there, bro. The history will tell you there's no way he turns back into this guy that's durable to the point where he can, lead the league in air yards. There's just no way. If he becomes productive and somehow stays on the field, it's going to be more of a possession receiver type role where he figures out how not to get crazy hits. He's not like stretching the field constantly, running back to the line of scrimmage when a ball is overthrown. Olave is the young kid they're going to throw out there to run this go route, and he has to come back because it was underthrown or dropped or whatever, run another route. Michael Thomas can't do that. Michael Thomas is on his he's a shell of himself. I hate to break it to anybody. And so when you ask me, Smitty, why not take the gamble? Because I see it as a bigger risk. I see it as a bigger risk putting myself in a position on passing on Olave. Like, sometimes the bigger risk is passing on the opportunity, bro. I go after a different player if you don't like Olave. But this shouldn't be about him and going after the risky player that really is Michael Thomas, a much riskier player. Olave led the league by a country mile in air yards. And he's such a dynamic wide receiver. And when you trust your eyeballs and watch him run routes, you give him a quarterback that just turned Devontae Adams in a bad situation into a 14-touchdown, 100-plus reception, 1,300-plus wide receiver. Olave's headed to the moon. And everybody on the phone line, be quiet real quick. I got a little animation that I'm going to play for my boy Harmon, who I do appreciate, Harmon, and you're a good sport, but bro, we don't agree on anything. Let me show you something. This is Chris Olave.
A top 5 wide receiver hides among the people. His cost of entry is near illegal. Few see him coming. Many stay away. His name is Chris Olave.
And not to mention, bro, in your league, I can tell you right now, he's going around 3 in your league. In your league, he's going around 3.
Yeah, I think he will.
Steal.
I agree with that.
Steal.
Just one
illegal.
One final point on this. Chris Olave in the 3rd round is still a bigger risk, I think, than Michael Thomas in the 9th round, who's a bench player. I don't think the risk is going to be equal when there's someone in the 9th round who's going to be sitting on your bench. He might get dropped. He could pick up someone on waivers. Whereas Chris Olave is a starter every week.
But bro, Harmon, what do you do for work? Like, don't tell me where you work, but let me guess. Hold on. You are. I don't mean no offense by this. I'm pretty decent at predicting what people do for a living. You got to be in some sort of sales or customer service or something. Are you talking to people?
Listen, I'm not gonna say what I do for a living,
okay.
But
okay. But here's what's crazy to me, because I feel like you talk yourself into some things too. Is you just said something that you can turn and twist into a truth. Like, I believe that taking Mike Thomas in round 18 is safer than taking Chris Olave in round 2. Like, you can certainly, I feel like that's what you would say. I feel like that's the way your mind works. You'll literally find a reason. Just like you said, Najee wasn't deserving of what he did his rookie year because of a lucky dump.
That year he was getting like
bro,
50
bro,
big
you're coming up with
come on.
excuses as to why not to take the risk. And so when you say, like, oh, Mike Thomas is not as big of a risk, bro, of course Mike Thomas is not that big of a risk in round 9. Round 9's for trash. You're not going to lose the league if you miss on round 9. If you miss on round 9, you're not losing your league. Why can't you draft Olave in round 3? You just said Olave in round 3 is a bigger risk than Mike Thomas in round 9. Why not draft both of them? Cuff them together. One of them's going to go off, bro. Why not draft both? Because you don't want to draft Olave no matter what. You're making this about Mike Thomas when it's really about that you don't want to go.
I'm not going to make the decision where I'm not in a best ball league. So, I mean, if it was a best ball league, I guess, yeah, cuffing him would make sense. But, I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, Olave is just unproven.
So is every.
We don't know what
so
Carr's going to do. I mean, we really don't know what he's going to do. We just don't know what Derek Carr is thinking. What he's going to do.
Harmon, you drive me nuts if I heard this all day long. But I there's a certain amount of Harmon that we need on this show. So Harmon, I hope we don't drive you away. And I know you called him before. And I don't remember hearing a take that maybe you asked something that it was not a big deal. But I hope you keep coming back. We need you on this show. You know, you bring different perspectives here. They're not right, but you bring different.
I mean, we won't know who's right till the season actually happens. I don't think Michael Thomas is a league winner. I think he could be. I mean, he has the potential, I guess, but like he's not. I don't think Olave is a league winner either. Really, I mean, I just don't see it in either of those players. I don't think the Saints' offense in general is where the league winners are going to be this year. I mean, Taysom Hill is going to be poaching touchdowns. We got Juwan Johnson there.
What do you? But can I go back to your unproven comment? Because like even some people in the chat are saying unproven. LOL. Like, what's he talking about? What is a player? What is a player? Hold on.
I walk that back. He's a proven player. He played well his rookie year, but he was not. I don't think he was a top 5 round pick in his rookie year. I don't remember.
What does a player have to do? What does a player have to do for you? Like, why is Garrett Wilson proven, but Olave isn't when they had very similar?
Wasn't Garrett Wilson Rookie of the Year?
Yeah, but they have very similar seasons.
And he has Aaron Rodgers. He was Rookie of the Year with Zach Wilson as quarterback.
Well, Olave didn't have quarterbacks, bro. You have rotation of garbage, constant.
Okay, that's true. That's true.
They have very similar rookie years. I'm just saying, like, what's constituting proven? Like,
I feel like I trust Aaron Rodgers more than
Derek
Carr.
Hey,
hold on.
Hold
Aaron
on.
Rodgers is
Harmon.
For sure going to pick Garrett Wilson. There's no one else there.
Harmon, I'm trying to get to the root of this problem. Now you're going into a different direction because your other part didn't work out. You said he's unproven, and now that you realize he's unproven, you're now turning to you like the quarterback situation better. That had nothing to do with what you just said. So what I'm trying to tell you is I'm trying to help you. I think you were staying away from all risk, period. And I think you need to figure out a way to assess your own risk levels and figure out what works for you and what doesn't, when you should trust a little bit of risk, when you shouldn't. But the fact that you just said Olave is less proven, and then when we start talking about his numbers, situation, quarterback play last year, I think they proved about the same thing. I think Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave proved almost the exact same thing. And so when that didn't pan out, you went straight to the quarterbacks that they're getting this year that has nothing to do with what they've proven.
Well, I mean, Garrett Wilson doesn't have like a former top receiver in the NFL on the other side of him. And that's Michael Thomas, a former top wide receiver in 2019.
He's a shell of himself, bro. He's a shell of himself. Michael Thomas isn't he isn't even healthy right now.
How did Olave do when he was with Michael Thomas for those like 2 or 3 games? How do we have a sample of that? Because that'll be a good, like that then I know if Olave is as good as he's being hyped up to be. Because like I feel like they were about even when they were together for like a few games.
Let me pull it up for you. Chris Olave.
I mean, I don't know off the top of my head. I mean,
I know you don't know because you don't like Olave at all. But that's okay, and I understand. Chris Olave
last year was a deep, like 8th round pick or something like that. He wasn't in the top 5 rounds.
Yeah,
I don't remember that.
I'm not going to look this up live right now. I got to get to the other callers. But
he was not an 8th round pick.
Harmon,
Michael Thomas was good in the games that he played.
Yeah, Harmon, hang tight. You don't have to hang up or anything. Just hang tight. Let me go over to the 516 caller. You're live. Who's this?
My name's Nate. What's up?
What's up, Nate? What can I do for you? Nate, where are you calling from? Nate from where?
Calling from New York.
Nate from New York. What's up, Nate?
Man, I was just listening to this conversation. It was just, I had to call in, man. I had to give my opinion. You know, obviously we would like Michael Thomas if he could stay fully healthy and play a season or even play maybe half a season. But just like all the question marks, everyone's really high on Chris Olave because what he showed as a rookie, and we're expecting a year 2 jump with the quarterback improvement, you know, like I'm just kind of shook by what this guy was talking about.
Yeah, I mean, I understand what's going on. It's the fear. It's, you know, look, I see every single type of like fantasy football owner style. I see it all. I'm 20 years doing this, 20 plus years doing this. I've seen everybody. I can almost read. This is why I love psychology too. I got a psych degree. I could literally see someone coming from a mile away. I can even tell by someone's typing, like when they are in a chat or they send me emails or whatever, how they're going to sound on the phone. Not necessarily the tone of the voice, but if they're going to be ADD-like and go, Smitty, Smitty, because you could tell, like I could tell. And what I can tell about Matt, or Harmon, what's your name? Harmon. What I can tell about Harmon is that...
Smitty.
You what? You what? What do you say? Who's talking?
You what?
Who said something, Smitty?
No, that was me. It was Matt. I said that was disrespectful calling him that.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I got a lot of people on the phone line here. But
no, you're good. You're good.
Harmon, I could tell that Harmon, you are very, very, very much a guy that is late to the party on some of the breakout players. And I think that's fine for you. And maybe you don't want to change that. I'm just trying to help you become a better owner. But if you're never predictive and you don't learn how to hone in on your skills of when your predictive analysis is right and when it's wrong, when you think about a fantasy football owner, what is fantasy football? It's trying to project what's going to happen. And if you can master your own gut feelings and your own analysis, you will be unstoppable. You know, you will be the best version of fantasy football owner that you could be. But if you sit back and let things happen, you're probably not going to win championship after championship after championship. That's all I'm trying to say. Hey, can you mute? Go on mute. I just added Anthony. Anthony, go on mute real quick. But anyway, Harmon, it's fine. You do you. I'm just trying to help you. I'm trying to help you take some calculated risks, and I feel like you're just going to close all those opportunities down, bro. I just feel like you're not a very risk-oriented guy. When it comes to fantasy, live vicariously through fantasy. Look at Bijan Robinson or trust your content creator that you follow or whatever. Maybe it's not me. Maybe you don't trust me, Harmon.
It's you.
Harmon,
you're the one I follow.
But Harmon, listen, you're not listening
here's
to
another guy you're on, Christian Watson. How is this not Chase Claypool from a couple of years ago?
God.
I mean, he got a bunch of touchdowns, and it's the same thing. We're hyping him up. He got a bunch of touchdowns. I mean, and now he lost to Aaron Rodgers, and now he's a fourth-round pick. I mean,
okay. Number one, there's love. You obviously don't believe in love because he hasn't proven it yet.
I don't know. No chance.
You wouldn't believe in anybody that hasn't proven it. There's just no way. You don't believe in Fields.
I'm thinking
Mahomes, Kelsey. I guarantee. Hey, Harmon, I guarantee you don't believe in Fields, and I guarantee you didn't believe in Jalen Hurts.
I had Fields last year. I believe in Fields. He's a good
player. Did you believe in Jalen Hurts last year?
Yes, I did.
Get out of here. Get out of here.
Jalen Hurts.
Absolutely.
I did. I had him. I could show
I'm taking away your Bijan card.
Your Bijan card has been revoked.
There's no way you believed in Jalen Hurts. Show me proof.
I had him last year.
I highly doubt it.
I had him with a good
Harmon,
round.
that doesn't fit the bill at all. Okay.
I mean, it's not risky taking a scrambling quarterback that can also throw pretty well and got a new top receiver in AJ Brown that year.
I guarantee you Harmon was in here going, he can't throw well at all. He's inaccurate.
No, that was not me.
All right. Nate.
To a degree, I do agree with Harmon on the Bijan stuff. This is, I think. Now, listen, I preface this from a perspective that, I don't know crap. Right, that's why I listen to you, Smitty. 2, I have taken Bijan in some of my best balls in the first round. However, again, I do to an extent agree with Harmon on the Bijan because few factors, right? I can't, Arthur Smith has proven that he doesn't like fantasy football with some of the things that he said.
Kyle
right?
Pitts is
and
the
aside
only
from that thought process, they still do have Mr. Tyler Algier, Cordell Patterson, and they do funnel. They don't just say, like Christian McCaffrey a couple of years back, he give the ball to Christian McCaffrey 98% of the time and go run the rock, right? I highly doubt that they're going to do that. And then also, it's like when you think about rookie RBs, when in fantasy football, right? When you think about those rookies that are hyped, that are, potentially drafted in the first round, they don't typically bring back that value. Think about Todd Gurley a couple of years ago. He wasn't drafted in the first round. Christian McCaffrey, I think he was drafted in the first round when he did have his breakout.
Rookies historically have a great return on investment, bro. Historically, rookies are home
But
runs.
but first round though is kind of just a little sketchy.
Barkley was the number 1 running back in fantasy football his rookie year. This is not unprecedented. It's not an unprecedented thing. On top of that, Bijan is like shattering the ceiling in terms of skill set and looking at this guy, analyzing this guy. He's not anything close to any of the other examples we have, like his Clyde Edwards-Helaire example. But going back, just to tear down a few of the things you said, Arthur Smith doesn't like fantasy football. Like, that's irrelevant, number one. Number two, Kyle Pitts is the reason people say that, not the running game. They were the number 1 rushing football team in the National Football League last year. Algier wasn't splitting so much time with Cordero, who's old, bro, and is not staying healthy for any sort of heavy volume at all. But Algier was getting spoon-fed. Then there's no way Algier is keeping a guy they drafted inside the top 10 off the field. He will spell Bijan. He will take not one single carry away from Bijan Robinson. Do you know how I know that? Because they're going to run the ball more than anybody in the National Football League. Bijan can't run the ball 519 times. Bijan cannot run the ball 519 times, I think. Algier is taking not one carry away from Bijan. Not one.
Can I challenge
every
you?
carry? Yeah, hold on. Every carry he gets is allotted for whoever's going to be there spelling him. Bijan Robinson's going to be all over the field. And so if you're going to throw yourself into the bucket with Harmon, I'd be careful to do that because his stance
is
519
really the number they had last year? I didn't know that.
I really not. Let me look up their actual number. But I wouldn't throw
and is that excluding Mariota runs?
That's the rushing attempts for the team. I was throwing that out. I'm throwing that out. Let me look up the exact number, and see team stats. Rushing, 2022, rushing attempts. Atlanta Falcons 559.
Oh damn! That's not excluding Mariota though. That's got to include some Mariota.
It's just rushing attempts, period. But that is an astronomical number.
500 attempts is a lot. I will say that.
So like
if Bijan gets 60% of that, that's a really good volume.
Like I said, he's not taking one single carry away, not one, Algier, from Bijan Robinson. Maybe it'll.
I will say that's good volume. No, I'll agree with that. That's good volume right there.
So, but that's what I was trying to tell you the whole time. You weren't hearing me. Is they're the number 1 rushing team in the National Football League? Not to mention Arthur Smith is the best running play designing architect.
I actually do see that point because like Clyde with the Chiefs, they were pass first. This will be a run first team. So I could see, I could see Bijan I'm not going to get the card back, but I could definitely see point why he could be a league winner.
I might give your brother the card back. I might give maybe your mother the card back.
Give my ancestors the card back. At
maybe
least.
your great, grandfather, Gary is going to get his card back. But that's it, bro. You're not touching it.
That's a lot of running volume, and if they keep that up.
But I've been telling you that, Harmon. I've been telling you that the whole show.
Yeah, so it's definitely. But listen, I was telling you from my perspective. A couple of years ago, I picked Clyde Edwards. I got burned, but maybe the situation is a little different.
Harmon, he has nothing to do with Clyde. He has nothing to do with Clyde Edwards-Helaire, bro. He has nothing to do with them. They're not the same player. They don't run the same. Their systems aren't the same. You keep saying you got burned with Clyde Edwards-Helaire. You got burned with the rookie, and you're scared of rookies. That's literally the gist of this entire thing. They were number 1 in rushing attempts with 559. This offense was. Let me pull up the next stat here. They were in rushing yards. The Falcons were 3rd in the NFL, but the 2 teams in front were running quarterbacks. So
we might all be sleeping on Bijan. Actually, damn.
What? No, bro.
You can't say that now. I'm saying
bro.
You gonna sit here and just throw the white towel?
Young and unexperienced.
Come on, man. What's going on out here?
Young and unexperienced. He's not going to be that good.
What just happened, bro? You're crazy bro, at times, bro. You're in Twilight Zone.
Second round.
You're in Twilight Land right now.
You're taking fantasy football cards.
You're in Twilight Land. You just stumbled back into the chat, and you acted like we were with you, and you said, "Yeah, we might be sleeping on Bijan right now." We might be sleeping on Bijan. What are you talking about?
Like as a community, I
No!
feel like he should be higher.
Are you trolling, bro? Are you trolling? You have to be trolling. You cannot be a serious person. Are you trolling, Harmon?
Maybe I have been trolling you a little bit. I'm just giving you counterpoints. It makes the show more interesting.
I knew you could have been this. No, now here's the question: is Harmon really trolling? Your counterpoints have been not good though, or are you trying?
But this is what people say.
Or are you
what
trying
people
to
are
back?
say.
Or Harmon, are you trying to backpedal? Because now
I'm not
you're
trying to
like,
backpedal,
let me.
I think Bijan is a good pick in the first round, but these are the points that people will make.
Finish him.
The points that I was making.
Call terminated.
Not only is he trying,
he kind of deserved that.
Yeah, he's getting booted after that. Not only is he,
Smitty.
Hold on. Not only is he banned from calling in again for a long time, because if he's trolling, then he's wasting our time. B, he's now either lying because he's been made such it's been such a bad take that he's been throwing out there that he's trying to like somehow get a little bit of that respect back. But that was just, either way, it was awful takes. Awful take. If he thinks he's putting some sort of counterpoint in there, he's not. He's not. Garbage. I think he's backpedaling Billy. I think he is. I think Harmon is trying to change his tune because he feels embarrassed. But either way, that's it. That's it. You don't come in and play around with the show. So anyway, let me get on over to let's see here. Who hasn't gone? Anthony, you're live.
Hey, what's going on, Smitty?
What's up, pal?
Not much, man. You just booted him. I was calling in to remind this dude that Mike Thomas might only have 1 foot left.
Yeah, we don't even know if he's. I think he is half serious. I think he's just embarrassed. So
he got me to call in, so I was just like, oh my god, this guy's crazy.
He's absolutely mad. But there are people that feel this way, so it makes sense that he does feel this way. It does make sense.
All right.
But like, why would you come in and you completely either discredit yourself or you make yourself look like you don't know what you're doing. You've never played fantasy football before. Either way, that's what he did. He did one or the other. So he's getting booted. I'm going to wrap things up here. So go ahead and Anthony, I haven't given you much time at all. So you go ahead first. Tell me what you need to tell me. Ask me what you need to ask me. And then I'm going to roll through the other gentleman here. So hit me with it.
I kind of wanted to go back and forth with Harmon, but I just want to reinforce your idea of drafting Bijan in the first round, top 3, 4, whatever pick you have, because just watch the tape on the dude. He changes direction so quick, explodes. He has power. He can catch. This dude's gonna just annihilate the league, and he's gonna go crazy. And if you pass on him, man, I feel that it's gonna be a big mistake. Just watch the tape on him, man. His feet are some of the best feet that I've seen in better than Saquon's forever. So
everything about him, there's not a single hole in his game, bro. Not a single one. He seemed genuine, says Richard Dragon. Yeah, Harmon seemed genuine up to that point. I think he was just trying to get out of it. He was as creative of a way as possible. A 603 caller, you're live. Who's this? Is this Matt, the guy earlier?
Not earlier, from Saturday, New York Barbershop.
Barber Matt. Okay, what's up, Barber Matt? What are you gonna do now?
I'm into this Bijan conversation. So obviously, I think he's going to be a good player, but yes, he is young. And why wouldn't you take a top receiver first, and then you still have all those good running backs in round 2?
Why would you not take LT back in the day? Why would you not take Marshall Faulk back in the day? If you had the number 1 overall pick when Danian Tomlinson was the king of fantasy, would you pass on him because there's other RBs?
I mean, if you want like that balanced, like superstar skill up front,
No,
I
you
would
no,
say
you don't.
yeah.
No, you don't. You never did. No one passed on. No one, bro. Nobody passed on LaDainian Tomlinson or Marshall Falk in their heyday. Nobody. So the answer is no. If you're telling me you would have passed on LT to go wide receiver so you could have a balanced approach, you were losing your league. You honestly passed on LT when you were at number 1 overall and Marshall Falk back in their heyday? Come on, bro. You didn't.
I took Adrian Peterson his rookie year.
But you answer the question. Did you pass on LaDainian Tomlinson when he was the number 1 running back without hesitation back in his heyday?
I took Saquon his rookie year.
Finish him. Call terminated.
Can't talk to people like that. You just can't. Go ahead. Who is Anthony? Was it Anthony? Anthony, hang up. Matt from Boston. Go. Final thoughts. Thanks, Matt. We'll see you later. Bama. Final thoughts. Bama, you're on mute again. What is this? This is Mickey Mouse hour. Bama, you're on mute. All right. Scuba, final thoughts.
Hey, Smitty, I got a question for you.
All right.
So, Daniel Jones, right?
Yeah.
They have a new offense and everything like that. Is there, like, I'm not going to say that this guy is going to be like a number 1 fantasy quarterback or he's going to be like, finished as like a number 1 quarterback or anything. But with the moves that they made and Dayball really getting this guy to like play good, is there like a chance that this guy could, I guess, like put up the same type of numbers as Geno Smith and Jared Goff, but also like get in like a couple extra like rushing touchdowns? Because there was like a stretch, I believe, like last year. I don't remember the exact weeks, but for at one point where the guy was actually like a good like 5-week filler. If that guy I guess like takes those weeks and he's actually able to sustain that like production like 1-17, like do you think that he could be like a decent like producer or anything like that?
Daniel Jones?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Dable knows what he's doing. Geno, as you mentioned, is a player that did similar. You're doubting him, and he did it. Tua, he runs a lot. There's a lot of value in a running quarterback. But do I draft him to start? Never. Do I take him as a super flex second quarterback? I mean, maybe, but I never have. Not this year. Not in all the super flex drafts I've done. Never taken him. Probably never will. Doesn't mean I don't like him. Doesn't mean I'm not rooting for him, but certainly don't feel like it's a very, very strong move to win a fantasy football championship. But he's good enough. Kind of like I said, he's good enough for the offense. He's good for Hyatt. He's good for Barkley. He's good for Darren Waller. This is all good stuff. He's good for the offense essentially. But is this team going to win a championship with Danny Dimes? Probably not. But I'm not excited about him from a fantasy perspective. I just like what he provides, some potential value, to the situation.
Well, I guess like for me, is like I was asking is like for I guess why not really say like he's gonna be like your number 1 quarterback, but I guess like if you want like a bench guy, get like just somebody to add on your bench just to see what happens. I mean, because I meant like last year, like I didn't really think of anything of him, but there was like those couple weeks. I think it was like 11, 12, or like week 13. I think those like 3 weeks where they were like trying to go on like a playoff push, and like he was doing like decent like fantasy production where he threw for like a couple touchdowns and like he ran like a couple in. I was just like, you think that is there any chance that he could like build on that?
I don't hate it, bro. But I also sit here and look at ADP and I see Anthony Richardson. I see Aaron Rodgers below him, like 2 or 3 spots below him. I see Jordan Love a handful of spots below Aaron Rodgers, so he's a handful of spots below Danny Dimes. I see Derek Carr. So I see a lot of quarterbacks that honestly I'd just rather have than Danny Dimes. I mean, it's a guy they contemplated not bringing back. They did end up signing to a big deal, but I think there were reasons to question that. Give me Aaron Rodgers all day long. So will I ever draft him as a backup quarterback in a 1 QB? Probably never, because Aaron Rodgers I like so much more, and I quietly like Jordan Love. I could care less if other people don't. I see value in Jordan Love. I see value in his situation. I think Christian Watson is going to ball out. And I think the offense is going to be pretty decent in Green Bay.
All right. No, I just want to bring that
Trust
name
your
up because like I said, some of those guys like second half breakouts, like it did happen for like a little bit. So I just wanted to bring it up to the table. But that's all I got for tonight, man. Because I know you want to go to like other guys and you have to wrap it up.
I'm getting off actually. All right. We'll see you
tomorrow.
tomorrow.
Are you drafting tonight?
No. Nope, tomorrow we will.
All
right, see you tomorrow, pal.
All
Later.
right, I'll see you tomorrow.
Let's go on over to Turtle. Turtle? Is that your name? Turtle in New York? What's up, Turtle?
Yo, what's up, brother? How we doing?
What's up, Turtle?
Not much, man. Excited for this fantasy season. Watching football, it's changed a lot, man, over the years. But, I think it's very disrespectful that women are allowed to be refs out there. I think it's just really uncalled for. And, even the analysis that you get, it's like.
Today's clown day. Today's total clown day. Bam, are you sleeping? Unbelievable. This is got to be the weirdest phone. He's sleeping on the phone. Bama? Rise and shine, Bama. All right, we're gonna exit the show with Bama snoring. Just let it ride. Appreciate every single one of you. And we got Marsman Rock out Russian Collusion calling in real quick. Russian, what's up, my guy? Weird day today, Russian.
Smitty, I'm so glad you cut that freaking guy off because I was ready to come through the fucking TV.
Yeah, I don't know.
My language.
Yeah,
I normally don't.
Yeah, we've got a few. It's the same guy. It's the same guy trying to get in, but we'll just go. We'll go ahead and roll with it. Look, we got Bama asleep on the phone. It's been a weird day. We'll chalk it up to that, but it is what it is. What can I do for you, Collusion? Before I jump, Bama's just gonna snore through this, so don't worry about him.
First of all, the guy that called in about the Barkley and you were trying to educate him on past running backs that were elite, and you spoke about LT and some other ones, and I don't think he knew who those people were.
Yeah,
because he kept on saying, "Well, I drafted Barkley when he was a rookie." Well, Barkley's not LT.
Well, hold on. Here he is, Matt. You're live on the show. You got hung up on because we've had a lot of trolling today, and
no, I am not Matt. You hung up on me, and I am not Matt.
Who are you?
My name is Kale.
Kale?
Yeah.
Okay, Kale. What can we do for you?
So I want to talk about Bijan again.
Okay.
And I just don't think he's going to be good enough.
Finish him.
Sorry.
Call terminated.
Yeah, I'm not mad. I just don't think he's good. All right, Collusion, what do you got? Final thoughts?
So anyway, Smitty, what I want to talk about today is I got a question for you today. It's about Olave. What do you think about Olave? Who am I?
You're every.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Anything on your mind though, pal?
No. After seeing the ridiculousness that you've been dealing with tonight, I had to call in and just say, this is an ordinary night. It's just, come on, people. Just, I don't know. It's just, is it a full moon out there, Smitty?
It is, but it's all good, bro. It happens. Anything else, bro? Anything on your mind player-wise? What do you got?
Well, there's a lot of things that are going on in the NFL right now, and I just can't wait to find out what's going on with actually, the Cook and, anybody else that's free agents right now. But, no, I don't have a lot of questions. I just got very frustrated with the callers that were calling.
Oh, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Move on. Move around it.
Didn't have anything to say.
Move around it. I'm out of here, Russian. So if you don't have a player to speak of, I'm gonna bail. Bama, are you still sleeping? I think Bama's still asleep. So if you don't have a question, I'm gonna jump. But if you got something, hit me with it. And then
No,
okay.
I don't.
Okay.
I want to call it and not protect you, but
I don't.
I mean, come on, people.
I got
Can
it.
you call in with some good shit or whatever you got to do? I don't know.
Don't worry about it, Collusion.
But thanks, Smitty.
Hey, appreciate you.
I appreciate what you do every
Later, pal.
day. And
we'll see you tomorrow. Later.
Bye.
All right, Bama. On that note, Bama, I'm going to hang up on you. Happy, sweet dreams, Bama. Bama's fell asleep on the phone line there. I'll see you all tomorrow. Peace out. Later.
A lion lives among us, posing as half-man, half-lawman. His golden mane is reportedly 6 feet long and is bathed in milk.
That's right.
His marvelous mane grows longer with each breath he takes. Legend has it that if you say T-Law in the dark in the bathroom 3 times, you lose your league instantly. Conspiracy fanatics have linked his triangle bone structure to the ancient pyramids and alien theory.
People are getting burrowed left and right, and people are going to remember it.